crushed, will they still be leaders? This is a game they should get to win definitively. Today we find out who is here to play and who is here to win.
And just to recap the series between the two teams, Edinboro leads the series 4-1 against Seton Hill. The Fighting Scots are undefeated at home against the Griffins in this series. Last year, Edinboro visited Seton Hill and won that game in style, 67-20.
And football is not the only thing going on in the borough this weekend. In fact, if you are an Edinboro sports fan, this is the week to be in town. Obviously, we have football going on just right now, but soon after, following this game, women's soccer is in action against East Stroudsburg University. I'll be on the call for that game as well. And then after the soccer game at 7 p.m., women's volleyball is in action at Macomb Fieldhouse. And Luke, I'll be on the call for that one as well. This is an exciting day, and I can't wait to get this started.
Yeah, not only are you calling the volleyball game, but I'll also be running the board for tonight at 7 p.m. And of course, you're going to go for the triple crown of calling every sporting event for Edinboro College sports.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting. Hopefully my voice is able to make it through. And by the way, last night, women's volleyball was also in action. They were victorious over Lock Haven University. And men's and women's swimming were in action last night as well at IUP. Though they did not win the meet, 6 men qualified for the PSAC meet, PSAC qualifying times, and Yana Maletska, the women's swimmer, had 3 different PSAC qualifying times. She is a force on that women's swimming team, and it looks like she's coming out of the gate hot. Nowhere to go but up for her. Cross country, men's and women's, are at the Rock Pre-Nationals in Pittsburgh this weekend. They're gearing up as they get closer and closer to the PSAC cross country meet, which is, by the way, being hosted at Edinboro. So they're finally getting ready, gearing up, and getting into competition mode. Speaking of gearing up and getting into competition mode, Luke, we're about ready to get this game kicked off.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for this game. It looks like the rain has stopped for a while. I hope it keeps that way for the whole football game.
Well, that would be nice. Yeah, we definitely don't want to see the hail come back. That was a little scary almost, especially with their marching band was out on the field at that time. Seton Hill will begin the game receiving the kickoff from Edinboro.
Right now the sun is peeking out through the clouds, so nice to bring some positive for the Fighting Scots.
It is going to be chilly, no matter how much that sun comes out, but the sun does help.
And Edinboro will kick off to start the game. Seton Hill will be the receiving team.
And out to kick for Edinboro is Jake Monroe.
And looking at Seton Hill for the returners, it's number 6, Terrell Ford, a wide receiver, and also number 4, Keenan Humphrey, a wide receiver for the Griffins. They'll be the 2 returners for the Griffins.
And as we get this PSAC West matchup started between 2 teams who are tied at 1-3 in divisional play, Edinboro bouncing on the sidelines. They're going to need that energy if they're going to bounce back after the last couple weeks that they have had. The whistle sounds, and Jake Monroe is ready for his kickoff to start this game. The boot is up. A line drive will be taken by Terrell Ford at the 5. He's now to the 20, gets hit, but rolls away from it at the 25, getting dragged down by Edinboro. And I believe that was Lindell Service Jr. who made the tackle, but there is a flag on the play. A couple flags on the play. I see 3.
Yeah, I see 3 as well.
I'm seeing 1 motion, a face mask.
And I see a holding call, so I think it might be offsetting penalties to start the game.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this one plays out, as it's already starting interestingly. Edinboro no stranger to penalties this season, but their opponents no stranger either. And by the way, we did mention hail earlier. The hail has currently blanketed the field. There's a thin layer of it on the field. Edinboro to start this game is moving right to left, and Seton Hill moving left to right as the referee heads down to the Seton Hill sideline to see what Seton Hill would like to do with those penalties. So it looks like they will be in the Griffins' favor. And while we're handling the housekeeping duties, Edinboro moving right to left, wearing all red
As for Seton Hill, they're wearing their gold helmets with white jerseys and black pants.
And there's a personal foul face mask that was declined, but there was a holding call against Edinboro. And so
it looks like they're going to do a re-kick.
They're going to go ahead and re-kick with the penalty.
So take 2.
So we will restart this game. Why not? A game so exciting and we need to kick it off twice.
Yeah, except for this time, I think the kickoff will be pushed a little further. I think probably start at the 35-yard line.
So Jake Monroe will reset to kick it off a second time here at Sox Harrison Stadium. With the same 2 returners back for Seton Hill, Terrell Ford and Keenan Humphrey. Edinboro sideline not dissuaded at all. The boot again from Monroe, again fielded from the 5. This time the cannon sounds to the 25, finally gets hit around the 30 and gets dragged down again.
And that returns by number 6, Terrell Ford. And I thought he was going to slip away from the tackle. It ran all the way for a touchdown to start the game. But a nice job by the special teams of Edinboro to keep him stay in the field and not let them score early.
And that tackle was made by Branson Smith, the freshman cornerback, whom we've seen some impressive displays from so far this season. So Edinboro's defense will make their way out for the first time this game. Seton Hill comes out, a little bit of a pistol formation, running back to the quarterback's left, 2 receivers either side. The handoff is to the running back, gets up the middle to the 50, to Edinboro's 45, and finally tripped up. That carry was by Sing-Q Sweeting, whom we will see a lot of today.
Yeah, Sweeting find a hole like on the right side of the offensive line and create a big chunk of yards, and again enough for a first down.
Again, spread out, 2 receivers either side, ball on the near side of the hash. The handoff is to Sweeting, again up the middle, bounces it out to the outside, and gets taken down a gain of about 7 before getting brought down by Edinboro.
Yeah, Seton Hill, they're trying to do like the hurry-up offense just to confuse the defense early in this game.
Trying to keep the ball moving. The ball in between the 2 hashes, still spread out, 2 receivers either side. For Chris Jones, the quarterback. Drops back, looks down the near sideline deep for a pass. There's contact down the sideline, but over the head of the receiver and incomplete in the end zone. 3rd and 2 for Seton Hill.
Yeah, that's a very great coverage. I'm not sure who was the defensive back who made a coverage on the receiver. That
Terrell Ford was the intended receiver on that one. And I believe Branson Smith was the
I can see number 13. Yeah. Good coverage by Branson Smith on Terrell Ford for that big pass play.
That freshman I just mentioned on the kickoff. 2 receivers either side. 3rd and 2 for Seton Hill. Sweeting to Jones's left, takes the snap, throws it immediately to the wideout who gets hit hard. It's a gain of maybe 1, if any.
Yeah, it's going to be a 4th down. Seton Hill is just short for another first down. And I think there's some substitutions for Seton Hill, but most of the offense is staying on the field.
Yeah, they're bringing in a tight end now, Travis Crummy. He's coming in to put a little bit of extra emphasis on this offensive line. They're going to try to push it up the middle. I believe the fullback also came in, Tommy McChesney. Chris Jones will hand it off to the fullback who gets up the middle, dives forward through the line. He's got a first down, and that's exactly what they were looking to do on that one, and they'll bring the extra personnel off the field and put their wide receivers back in the game as McChesney and Crummy come off the field. From Edinboro's 29-yard line with 13 minutes to go in the first quarter, Seton Hill comes back out 1st and 10, 2 receivers either side, with Sin-Q Sweeting to Chris Jones right. Jones drops back for the pass, looks down the near sideline, pumps fakes, has to get rid of it to Sweeting in a little bit of a flat, but he wasn't even turned around. It's incomplete.
A great pressure by the defensive line from the Fighting Scots on Jones. Yeah, like you said, he was throwing to Sweeting, but Sweeting was so busy running the route, he didn't realize that the ball was intended for him.
Yeah, that pass, that play, not designed to go to Sweeting most likely, so he wasn't expecting it coming in his direction, but all the better for Edinboro. 2nd and 10 for Seton Hill from Edinboro's 29, under 13 to go in the first quarter, still spread out in their no-huddle offense. This time the handoff is to Sweeting up the middle. He's hit, but he keeps running to Edinboro's 20, almost a first down. Up to Edinboro's 19 is where they're going to spot him. So it'll be 3rd and short for Seton Hill, and actually they're going to move the chains. So first down for the Griffins as they keep the ball moving here, attempting to keep the pace up. And the referees have to stop the clock to give Seton Hill more time on the play clock, as it was a first down. From the near hash, inside Edinboro's 20, Seton Hill threatening on their first drive of this game. Jones hands it off to Sweeting again up the middle, gets hit, but driving forward up to the 14 before getting brought down.
Yeah, I thought Sweeting was going to go for another big run like he did early in this drive. He found the hole in the middle of the offensive line, but surprising though, he only gained about just 3 yards on that play.
Yeah, 2nd and 5 for the Griffins. And Chris Jones, who has Sweeting to his left, and 2 receivers either side. We'll see if they go back to Sweeting here. They do. Up the middle again. This time he gets hit at the line. He's trying to get around the corner, but not letting go is Edinboro's defense. Brought down for a gain of just 2, it looks like. 3rd and 3 for the Griffins.
Yeah, this is an important third down play for the Fighting Scots defense. Hopefully they can stop the hurry-up offense from Seton Hill and force them to a field goal on this opening drive.
And this time the Griffins come out with the ball on the near hash. 3 receivers to the far side, just 1 on the near side as the rain begins to fall again here at Sox Harrison Stadium. We mentioned that weather. We're going to be seeing a lot of it. We're going to be talking a lot of it. The handoff is to Sweeting up the middle, but stopped immediately by Derek Dorr in the defensive line of Edinboro. Behind the line, it's a tackle for a loss, and 4th down, and it'll probably be 4th and 5 for the Griffins.
Yeah, the Edinboro's defensive line was expecting another running play by St. Q Sweeting. Again, the Seton Hill's offense is still on the field, and they still want to go for it, unless they want to go for a field goal on their first drive.
Yeah, their offense is still on the field. They sent out Michael Valentino, one of the running backs. He's to the right of Chris Jones, with 2 receivers either side, as they give St. Q Sweeting a little bit of a break here. 4th and 5, likely a pass. Jones does drop back for the pass. Looks over the middle of the field, in the end zone, completed to Terrell Ford for a touchdown for Seton Hill on their first drive. And after the play, flags are everywhere.
Yeah, that's a big touchdown pass from Jones to Keenan Humphrey, like just threading the needle to score on the first drive on the 4th down play. That's a big gamble by the Griffins offense, and it paid off.
Yeah, going on it. Not only going for it, but getting not just the first down, but the touchdown is exactly what you want to do when you're in the red zone, going for it on the 4th down.
And it's unsportsmanlike conduct against Seton Hill after the touchdown play. And it will force it on a kickoff.
So the point after will be taken by Hunter Miller, the freshman kicker for Seton Hill.
And number 97, Matt Stewart, will be the placeholder for this point attempt.
The kick is up, but no good. So Seton Hill gets off to a quick start, but can't punch that extra point in. 6-0 Seton Hill with just over 10 minutes to go in the first quarter here at Sox Harrison Stadium. We're going to go ahead and take a quick 30-second break. You are listening to 88.9 WFSE, Fighting Scots Radio.
Sherman Gillums Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
For more than 70 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has helped hundreds of thousands of veterans get all the benefits they have earned.
Al Kovac Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
We provide one-on-one support tailored to your individual needs, including healthcare advocacy, benefits support, and career assistance.
For more information, call 1-800-424-8200 or visit pva.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Here at Scots Harrison Stadium, Seton Hill has struck first, which has been a common theme for Edinboro's opponents for the past few weeks. We did not see anyone do anything but punt in their first drive of either half of the game for the first 3 weeks. And since then, I believe every team Edinboro has faced has scored on their first drive.
I believe you are correct. I think started on the road on September 22nd at California, they scored a touchdown on their first drive. And I hope Edinboro can respond early in this game.
The kick from Seton Hill will be returned by Tanaz Gregory from the 30 because of that penalty. He's now taking it to the other sideline but gets tripped up. He ran only horizontally, so no real forward progress on the return, but he still gets to the 36 on Edinboro's side of the field thanks to that unsportsmanlike conduct against Seton Hill on the touchdown.
And right now I see Jared Keller will be the starting quarterback for the Fighting Scots for the second straight week. Tomko is in full pads, but he'll be on the sidelines, and he'll be the backup quarterback for today's game.
Yeah, we saw Tomko not start last week due to some injuries. Good to see he's at least back in pads. Edinboro comes out, 2 receivers near side, 1 far side with the tight end on the far side of the line. But the handoff is to Walter Fletcher up the middle, who breaks through to the 50-yard line, now to the 40. He's being chased, but he's not going to get caught for a while. Finally brought down at the 20 and downed at the 18 on Seton Hill's side of the field. A huge run by Walter Fletcher to start Edinboro's first drive, just like we saw last week. And they are hurrying up here, no huddle. 2 receivers near side, 1 far side. The handoff is again to Walter Fletcher up the middle, but brought down from behind, a gain of just 2 yards, or a gain of 1 yard to Seton Hill's 16. Actually, that is 2 yards. 16, under 10 to go in the first quarter, trailing by 6, but already in the red zone is Edinboro, as Jared Keller has to fix a couple guys' uniforms. Gets everyone ready to go. 2 receivers near side, 1 far side with the ball in the far hash. A.J. Turner, the tight end, is on the near side of the line. Fakes the handoff, Jared Keller does. Looks for Khalil Jackson the second in the slot. Actually, it's Andre Dowdell Jr. in the slot. He gets brought down, a gain of about 5 on the short stop route.
Let you go back on the first play of the drive. That was a huge play by Walter Fletcher. Went through the middle of the offensive line and then rolled down near the Edinboro sideline, and I thought he was going to score a touchdown on that first play. 2 receivers far side, 1 near side again for Edinboro. This time A.J. Turner's on the right side of the line with the ball in the near hash. Keller drops back, looks to the flat for Walter Fletcher, but incomplete. Had to thread the needle and threw it just a little bit too wide on that one as Walter Fletcher was covered heavily. And Edinboro's offense is going to stay on the field. They're going to go for it. They're going to do the same thing what Seton Hill did on their first drive. 4th and 1. A.J. Turner this time behind the offensive line. A little bit of a fullback type position. 2 receivers far, 1 near. And they tried to get Seton Hill jumping on the hard count. Now they look to the sideline and return to the line. 10 seconds on the play clock. Jared Keller takes the snap, hands it off to Walter Fletcher up the middle. He's through. He's got a first down and into the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Scots. Since Edinboro allowed Seton Hill to score on the first touchdown, they reply a touchdown of their own. That's a huge 4th down play by the Fighting Scots. Fletcher finds through the middle of the line and scored a touchdown. Now they're tied at 6, and Edinboro just 1 point away to take a 1-point lead. And a great job by Edinboro's offensive line opening up a huge hole up the middle in the A-gap between that center and the guard on the right side of the offensive line. Jake Monroe out for the extra point. And he boots it right through. Shows Seton Hill's freshman kicker how it's done. Under 9 to go in the first quarter. Edinboro has now taken the lead 7-6 with a touchdown apiece. The programming on WFSE is underwritten by Bonnell's Auto Group, featuring collision services in Erie and Fairview, auto glass replacement and repair in Fairview, auto sales in Erie and Fairview, and full rod shop services and restoration in Fairview. Information on each service is on the web at bonnellsauto.com.
With the incredibly quick drive from both teams, we're not even halfway through the first quarter, and both teams have scored a touchdown on their first drives of the game. Jake Monroe out for the kickoff for Edinboro. And now that hail I mentioned that had blanketed the field, it is mostly melting off. We've heard the coaches talk before that water, rain, not so much of a concern, especially on these newer fields. Sox Harrison Stadium does have relatively new turf with excellent drainage systems. So as that hail melts off, it won't necessarily be as much of a factor as if they were playing on grass. Monroe's kick is deep. Returned from the 10. Now to the 30. Breaks a couple tackles. Spins around. Brought down at the 40, but no, falls forward to the 40. They're going to give him the 44.
Yeah, that returns by number 6, Terrell Ford, and that's another huge return on his second kickoff return. And I thought, again, he's going to go for a kickoff touchdown to take the lead.
That was close. A great job by Edinboro's kickoff team, wrapping him up and not letting him go anywhere, even though it looked like he had broken free. From Seton Hill's own 44, 8.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Edinboro looking to put the stops to this Griffins offense. Spread out once more, moving left to right is Seton Hill. Chris Jones this time has Michael Valentino to his right. And the handoff is faked, thrown to the wideout on the slant. It's up in the air, tipped a few times, and finally brought down by Terrell Ford, the intended receiver. Branson Smith, the freshman cornerback for Edinboro, was in on coverage, had it tipped into the air by Ford, and they were both struggling to try to bring it down, but Ford eventually brought it down. It's a first down on Edinboro's side of the field.
Oh, that was a very close play. I thought Edinboro was going to have an interception.
3 receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side for Seton Hill. From Edinboro's 37, Chris Jones drops back, looks down the near sideline, a deep pass into the end zone. In on coverage, a little bit too much coverage, was Branson Smith. The intended receiver that time was Ardell Brown, the wide receiver, and there's going to be pass interference on the young cornerback, Smith.
Yeah, Branson Smith, he was very busy, like just covering the receiver, and he did not even look for the football to make sure he doesn't get a pass interference call, but he did.
Yeah, didn't turn around, didn't play the ball, just played the receiver. It was incomplete, but they do get the pass interference. So the ball moves to Edinboro's 22-yard line with 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Edinboro still up by 1. 3 receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side for the Griffins as the ball is on the near hash. Michael Valentino to Chris Jones left. The handoff is to Valentino up the middle. He gets hit and brought down at the line by 3 or 4 different fighting Scots.
Yeah, that carries by number 22, Michael Valentino on that carry. And again, only gained 1 yard on the play.
In the secondary for Edinboro right now, Zarel Hendrick, Brandon Anderson, Lindell Service Jr., and Branson Smith. As we've talked about, also Maurice Sims, one of the strong safeties out there. 2 receivers either side this time with the ball between the hashes, 2nd and 9 for Seton Hill. Looks for Valentino in the flat, who makes the reception but is hit hard immediately by Maurice Sims. And not only a great job on coverage, making the excellent hit, but a clean hit. No flag out there, laying out Michael Valentino.
Yeah, Maurice Sims said hello and goodbye on that surprising hit.
And as we talk about the personnel, Ryan Bischoff and Connor Kelly, sophomore and redshirt freshman respectively, are the linebackers out there for Edinboro. And up front is Derek Dorr, Barrett Hoffman, and Miles Turner. 2 receivers near side, 1 far for Chris Jones this time on the 3rd and 10. Pass down the far sideline into the end zone and easily caught for a touchdown was Ardell Brown, the wide receiver for Seton Hill.
Yeah, he was outspeeding And we have actually another flag after the touchdown play.
Branson Smith, whose name we've said both positive and negative in this game, was on coverage, got beat deep because he looked like he slipped right around the goal line. So Ardell Brown was wide open as he made that catch for the touchdown. And like Luke said, a flag down here with under 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. And I would believe this is most likely going to be another unsportsmanlike conduct because that flag came out towards the end of the play.
Yeah, it happened before on the first drive when Seton Hill scored. They got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and they were pushed back on the kickoff. So I assume there'll be the penalty for after the play.
And it is unsportsmanlike conduct.
And it's both on Seton Hill and Edinboro.
Yeah, Derek Dorr was the fighting Scot who got that penalty. Didn't quite catch the number of Seton Hill.
Either way, it'll be an offsetting penalties against both teams.
And out for the extra point is Hunter Miller again, the freshman kicker for Seton Hill. As Edinboro again wants to put a little bit of stress on the freshman kicker, and maybe he'll miss another extra point here. Miller's boot is low and wide. No good again. 2 in a row for Seton Hill. So 12-7, as Seton Hill has scored 2 but failed to score any extra points. And we will go ahead and take a quick 30-second break. You are listening to 88.9 WFSE, Fighting Scots Radio.
So you don't have to miss even a minute. It's the Fighting Scots in action on the Edinboro Sports Network. On the radio at 88.9 WFSC and online at edinboronow.com. Video of many home games is also featured on ETV. This game broadcast is underwritten in part by the Edinboro Hotel Bar at 100 Meadville Street in downtown Edinboro, providing a variety of lunch and dinner items every day. Details are available at 814-734-5103 or online at edinborohotelbar.com. The Edinboro Hotel Bar, where you had me at hotel.
Weather. So we're going to give you another one. There is lightning and thunder in the area, though not here yet. We might see that. It might migrate down this direction. There is no rain for the moment, but as I say that, it might change immediately. 6:49 here at Sox Harrison Stadium left in the first quarter. Tanaz Gregory back for the return on the kickoff from the 15, now heading towards the far sideline. Up to the 25, the 30 is jersey pulled, but he's still running and out of bounds near the 40. Seton Hill leads 12-7 against or over Edinboro, as Tanaz Gregory is spotted down at Edinboro's own 41. Not a bad return for Tanaz Gregory.
Yeah, not a bad return indeed, and that's great field position to start the second drive for Edinboro. And hopefully the Fighting Scots can respond another touchdown and retake the lead.
That's definitely what they're looking to do here, though, getting a little bit of help from Hunter Miller, the freshman kicker for Seton Hill, not able to put those extra points through the uprights. 3 receivers near side, 1 far side for Edinboro, moving right to left here in this first quarter. Jared Keller back at quarterback, not Andrew Tomko in this game. Keller drops back for the pass on the first play from the line of scrimmage. Over the middle, caught and hit, but still running at Seton Hill's 30. Finally brought down Blake Reddick with a huge reception and way to keep the ball in his hands when he got hit in the air as he made the reception.
Yeah, Keller threaded the needle. And great concentration by Reddick. He doesn't care if there are like 2 or 3 Seton Hill players surrounding him. He was just focusing on catching the football, and that's enough for a big first down.
3 receivers near side. Tanaz Gregory, the wideout. Andre Dowdell Jr. in the slot. And Blake Reddick, the innermost receiver on the near side, as Keller drops back and looks to the far sideline for James Clark on the in route at the 15. Evading defenders at the 10, trying to bring them down as Seton Hill, but unable to as he's finally pushed out of bounds at the 12-yard line of Seton Hill's side of the field. Just over 6 minutes to go. Edinboro back in the red zone. And another reception for James Clark, who's having a big year and has had a great career. We'll get more on that when we get the chance. 3 receivers near side, 1 far again for Jared Keller. Looks for James Clark on the immediate stop route, but it's incomplete. And we'll get to breathe for a second. 2nd and goal for Edinboro.
That's a great couple of passes by Jared Keller. One to Blake Reddick and now to James Clark. And James Clark kept driving his feet, trying to push forward near the end zone for that first down play.
James Clark needs just 3 more receptions to tie the school record for career receptions. They were definitely looking to target him this week. He wasn't targeted much the last couple weeks. 3 near, 1 far again for Keller. Looks for James Clark in the front corner of the end zone. He makes the catch. He's trying to get brought down, but he sticks the ball over the pylon. It's a touchdown for the Fighting Scots and for James Clark.
Nice job by Clark, not only catching the football, he put a lot of effort to reach the football and touch the line of the end zone. That kind of reminds me of when Antonio Brown made the game-winning touchdown play, stretched the football to the end zone line to win the game against the Ravens, and that's what Clark did today.
It looked like he made the catch in the end zone, but they didn't call it immediately, so he had to kind of beat the defender and stick that ball through to get the call. Jake Monroe out, as Edinboro has taken a 1-point lead with the touchdown itself, but Monroe puts an exclamation point on it. 5 minutes, 57 seconds left, and Edinboro's up 14-12 here at Sox Harrison Stadium, where Edinboro is playing their first home game in 3 weeks.
WFSC is sponsored in part by the Edinboro Hotel Bar at 100 Vermeeville Street in downtown Edinboro, providing a variety of lunch and dinner items every day. Details are available at 814-734-5103 or online at EdinboroHotelBar.com. The Edinboro Hotel Bar, where you have me at hotel.
This has been an exciting game, to say the least. We haven't seen anyone punt yet. We've seen 2 drives from both teams, and all of them have ended up in touchdowns.
Yeah, that's very surprising. I mean, they both capitalized on the first 2 drives for both teams, and mainly one of these teams has to punt on this drive, and I hope it's not Edinboro.
Yeah, somebody's going to break eventually. It's just a matter of who and when. We've seen a very aggressive offense, very aggressive pass-heavy offense from Seton Hill, though they are threatening with their running backs. But we've seen them targeting mostly Branson Smith, the freshman cornerback, and keeping away from Zarel Hendrick. Monroe's boot is up and high, returned from the 10 by Terrell Ford. Up to the 25, breaking through, but getting brought down by the feet at the 30.
And now this time the next drive for Seton Hill will start near the 30-yard line in their own territory and not like around the 40 or the 45-yard line on the last 2 returns before this.
Brandon Rivers made the tackle for Edinboro. A great stop by him, under 6 to go in the first quarter. Edinboro up by 2 and looking to, again, try to stop the Griffins. A little bit different look as Ethan Upperco comes into the game, as well as David Baloo III, who did not start on the defensive line, but is the defensive captain this week. The handoff to Valentino up the middle by Seton Hill stopped at the line, and actually a loss of 1 by Derek Dorr again up front. He just knows how to get through that offensive line.
Yeah, they were expecting a running play on this first play on this 3rd drive. And right now, number 5, Sin-Q Sweeting, will now be the running back for the Griffins. So you better be careful as a defensive player for Edinboro.
2 receivers either side on 2nd and 11 for Seton Hill, with Sweeting to Chris Jones's right. Jones drops back, looks to the far sideline on the short slant route, and complete for a gain of about 6.
Yeah, that was for reception was made by number 17, Ardell Brown. I thought he was going to loop around Branson Smith and return all the way for a big touchdown pass, but he just slid and fell just far short.
Yeah, like I said, they've been keeping it away from Zarel Hendrick. 3 receivers near side, 1 far side with the ball on the far hash. Hendrick, by the way, is the cornerback on the near side of the field. Branson Smith on the far side. Jones, this time it's a little bit of a bubble screen, completed behind the line, getting back to the line of scrimmage, and a gain of about 2 for Seton Hill, but brought down by Ryan Bischoff, Zarel Hendrick, and DeAndre Dowdell, sniffing out that bubble screen there.
And finally, we have a team that will punt on their drive, and nice job by Zero Hendrick and number 38 Ryan Bischoff to break off the blocks and make an important tackle on that third down play.
On the 4th and 3 from their own 41, Seton Hill brings the first punt team out onto the field. They've got 3 gunners, 2 on the far side, 1 on the near side, just 2 in the second level defending the punter, Matt Stewart. The punt will bounce around the 20, picked up by Tanaz Gregory, evading a defender as he muffed with it at first. And there's a flag on the play as he made the return, so the return will end. He might have called for a fair catch, so they're going to talk this one out and decide what that flag exactly is for. But the ball bounced at first. It looked like Tanaz Gregory was just going to let it go, but as it bounced in Seton Hill's favor, he picked it up and started his return.
Yeah, I thought so too. I think it's a illegal return reception against.
Yeah, I believe he called for a fair. I think they call it a delay of game penalty for calling for the fair catch and then attempting a return. So the ball was downed when he touched it, as it was a fair, or when he caught it because it was a fair catch. But by making that return, they call it a delay of game. Just a 5-yard penalty, but Edinboro will start their drive from their own 12. Moving right to left as we see the field, they'll start spread out, 2 receivers either side for Jared Keller, with Walter Fletcher to his right. They've got their work cut out for them with under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Leading by 2, they've prevented Seton Hill from scoring. It's their chance to capitalize. The handoff is to Walter Fletcher up the middle, has to bounce around a couple times and only gets about a yard before getting brought down.
And that was a tackle made by number 45, Jaden and Burton Gaines. And I think no gain on the play for Fletcher. So nice job by Seton Hill's defensive line to contain the run.
Spread out still, 2 receivers either side with the ball near the near hash. Keller drops back, looks to the far sideline for James Clark on the short route. He gets brought down immediately after making the catch, but it's still a gain of about, looks like 7 from here. So 3rd and 3 for Edinboro as James Clark getting ever closer to that school record for receptions. 2 receivers either side again for Jared Keller with Fletcher to his right on the 3rd and 4 play. Keller this time looks to the near sideline, pump fakes, then looks for James Clark on the far sideline, but it looks like it's intercepted. No, it bounced before the cornerback could come up with it. Incomplete. Keller kind of panicked as the intended receiver was covered, thought James Clark would end up open, and didn't really look before he threw it. 4th and 4, and the offense is still out. Nope, they're going to bring out the punt team now.
I'd say that's a lucky break for Edinboro not to end their drive on an interception, and they will punt the football away on their third drive of this game.
So after 2 touchdowns from both teams on their first 2 drives, we'll see a punt from both teams on their third drives. Badaracco from the goal line makes his punt that is fair caught at Edinboro's 47. Seton Hill with some pretty good field position to start this drive.
Edinboro needs to make another big stop if they want to hold on to the lead. They're up by 2 with less than 2:46 in the first quarter, and we have a big huddle for Seton Hill's offense to see what play they're going to start on this 4th drive of the game. And they'll break the huddle, and Edinboro's defense is all good to go, ready for Seton Hill's offense.
Spread out with 2 receivers either side with the ball between both hashes, pretty much the middle of the field for Chris Jones. The handoff is it's a fake handoff. Jones keeps it himself, runs around the corner, gets tripped up at the 40. A gain of about 7 for Seton Hill on a little bit of a trick play there.
Yeah, nice job by Jones to force the defense to focus on Sweeting, and then he rolled to the outside to his left, and that created a big chunk of yards.
2 receivers either side again. This time Jones immediately throws it to the far sideline, a little bit of a wide receiver screen again. He gets a couple yards, enough for a first down to Edinboro's 35. And that pass was to Ardell Brown, the redshirt junior wide receiver. Ball at the far hash. at the 35. Two receivers either side still for Chris Jones, with Sin-Q Sweeting to his right. Jones reads the defense, takes the snap, looks for Sweeting in the flat. He makes the reception, but only gets back to the line of scrimmage before getting brought down by Maurice Sims and Ethan Upperco.
Yeah, Maurice Sims quickly shed the block against the receivers and made a nice tackle to stop Sweeting to make to gain more yards on that play. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 35-yard line in Edinboro's territory.
Minute and a half to go in the first quarter. 14-12, Edinboro leads. Two receivers either side with the ball on the near hash this time. Seton Hill threatening left to right. Jones takes the snap, looks over the middle of the field. He's going to keep it himself to the 30. He's got a first down as he falls down. And downed at the 25, they say. That looked a little short, but they call him down at the 25. It's enough for a first down as Seton Hill looks to keep the ball moving. A little bit of a different look now as they separate the offensive line. It's a screen pass to the far side of the field, but he's hit immediately and brought down at or behind the line of scrimmage, a loss of about 2. 2nd and 12. That was almost an Emory Henry formation. They had 3 offensive linemen at the ball, and then they had 2 separated from the ball with a receiver behind him. That receiver was Uriah Rajkumar, who made the reception on that kind of screen there. A little bit of a trick formation, but Edinboro had it snuffed out. 3 receivers near, 1 far. Empty backfield for Chris Jones. Takes the snap, drops back, has to scramble, but brought down by Derek Dorr and Bishop Simmons, teaming up for the sack way behind the line of scrimmage, and we've got some whistles out.
And it's right at the 30-yard line, so we'll wait to hear what the penalty might be.
There are less than 30 seconds to go in the first quarter, with Edinboro leading by 2. And we will look for the call from the referee.
And it's an illegal formation against Seton Hill.
So it was illegal formation, but Edinboro is going to go ahead and take the sack. They're going to decline the penalty. So the ball at Edinboro's 34. It's 3rd and incredibly long.
Yeah, that's a huge sack for Edinboro's defense, and they just needed one more play to stop this drive against Seton Hill.
It is 3rd and 19 for Seton Hill. 2 receivers either side. Returning to that formation they're familiar with. Sin-Q Sweeting to Chris Jones right. Ball at the far hash. Jones drops back for the pass. Looks in the flat, connects with his receiver at the 30. He's got to make up some ground. He's getting hit hard and stopped before the first down by Zaril Hendrick, who eventually brings him down. It'll be 4th and 9 when Seton Hill snaps the ball next, but there's a flag deep in Seton Hill's backfield.
It's going to be a holding call against Seton Hill. I actually saw myself. Maurice Sims was going to go for the sack against Jones, and it was now it's called against Sin-Q Sweden with a holding, and Seton Hill will be pushed further back, right about the 45-yard line in Edinboro's territory, as Seton Hill huddles up at midfield.
So instead of 4th and 9, it's instead 3rd and 29 as the clock ticks to 0 and we've reached the end of the first quarter. Both teams going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we will too. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to 88.9 WFSE Fighting Scots Radio.
Underwriters on WFSE are sponsors of Campus Media, who enable the radio station to provide programming every day on our main signal at 88.9 FM and on the live stream at edinboronow.com. We appreciate their support and hope you'll let them know you do as well. This game broadcast is provided in part by Bunnell's Collision in Erie and Fairview, providing a full range of automotive collision repair services. Information is available on
ideas, like really big, some would call them crazy ideas. For those who have been told no chance, and not you. Those who never miss practice, even at 6 a.m. Those who break a sweat, break hearts, and break records. For those who work harder, smarter, faster, there's Edinboro University. For those who strive. Start now at edinboro.edu.
Tuning in, by the way, my name is Chris Rosado Jr., providing all the play-by-play commentary today for both football and women's soccer later today, and I'll be on color for women's volleyball at 7. If you want to stick around and just keep your radio on all day long, right next to me for this PSAC West football matchup is Luke Broniger providing some excellent color commentary throughout the broadcast, if I do say so myself. If you're just tuning in, you missed quite the first quarter. Both teams on their first 2 drives of the game scored touchdowns. However, Seton Hill unable to get the extra point on either, so left with just 12 points. Jake Monroe for Edinboro able to punch it through the uprights. 14-12 is the score heading into the second quarter for Edinboro.
Yeah, we have 4 wide receivers on the near side, 1 on the far side, and it's going to be an empty field for Chris Jones, the quarterback for the Griffins.
By the way, that near side that has 4 receivers is the short side of the field. So on 3rd and 29, maybe a screen or just trying to confuse the defense here. Jones takes a snap, looks towards the near sideline. Everyone spreads out. Makes the reception at the 30, but brought down by Derek Dorr, the defensive lineman who made his way to the backfield, along with Ryan Bischoff and Maurice Sims. They just barely get to Edinboro's 29, which is still 4th and long. It looks like 4th and 14 for Seton Hill, whose offense is still out on the field. By the way, in this second quarter, Seton Hill is now moving right to left. Edinboro moving left to right. Still empty backfield on the 4th and long. 3 far side, 2 near side for Chris Jones. And this will be a big moment as we look back in this game. Chris Jones looks down the near sideline. He's going to run up to the line of scrimmage, gets rid of the ball into the end zone, in the air, tipped away, but down and incomplete. Brandon Anderson in on coverage.
On send Q Sweden, the intended receiver, that was a huge passing play and great coverage. There were not only Brandon Anderson was covering Sweden, but I think Zorel Hendrick and number 11, Lindell Service Jr., all 3 were covering on Sweden on that big passing play. It'll be a turnover on downs, and Edinboro will have the football on the first drive in the second quarter, and they're still up by 2, 14-12. Which is funny, is there are 14 minutes and 12 seconds left in the second quarter, so we have the same numbers on the scoreboard.
That is quite the coincidence. Moving left to right is Edinboro. 2 receivers either side, wearing all red today, including their red helmets. Walter Fletcher to Jared Keller's right. Keller drops back, looks down the far sideline deep for Tanaz Gregory, who's got his man beat deep, but there's a flag as the ball falls to the ground, incomplete.
And that'll be a pass interference call against number 30, Seco Noble Jr., and that'll be a free first down for the Fighting Scots, and it'll be probably at the 40 or the 35-yard line in Seton Hill's territory.
And just not what Seton Hill needed on that play when you already have Edinboro back in their own field. The first play from the line of scrimmage giving up the pass interference. Not good if you're the defensive coordinator, but they'll look to rebound here. Still on Edinboro's side of the field from the 44, 2 receivers either side with Walter Fletcher to Keller's right with the ball at the near hash. 14 minutes to go in the half. Fakes the handoff, Keller does, looks for James Clark, but it's tipped at the line and almost intercepted, but incomplete ultimately.
There's a flag at the 40-yard line during that play, and it looks like going to be holding against Edinboro.
Jay Dixon, the junior cornerback or junior defensive back for Seton Hill, was the one who almost came up with that after the tip. It ended up over the head of James Clark as it was tipped at the defensive line, but unable to come away with it, so they'll take the holding penalty.
I'll say this again, Edinboro's got a lucky break there, that almost a turnover, but not quite, as like you said, the ball fell to the ground during the intended interception.
So they get backed up, 20 to go to a first down, but at least they still have the first down. First and 20, 2 receivers either side for Jared Keller, who's in for Andrew Tomko, did not start in this game for the second week in a row. Keller drops back, looks for James Clark on the sideline, connects with him. A gain of 9 for Edinboro, so 2nd and 11 for the Fighting Scots as they are at their own 43-yard line.
Nice job by Clark on making that reception and doing a little fancy fancy footwork to keep him in bounds to make the reception count. It'll be 2nd down and 11.
Still spread out, 2 receivers either side. James Clark and A.J. Turner on the near side. Tanaz Gregory and Andre Dowdell Jr. on the far side. Keller drops back, looks over the middle of the field for Tanaz Gregory, but behind him and incomplete. Luckily, no Griffins there that time. 3rd and 11 for the Fighting Scots. 13 and a half minutes to go in the first half. Edinboro is leading 14-12. Neither team has scored since their second drives of the game.
Yeah, there was some miscommunication on that incomplete pass from Keller to Gregory, and now it's going to be empty field for Keller. It'll be 3 receivers on the far side and 2 on the near side.
From their own 43, Keller drops back, looks to the far sideline, now scrambling towards the sideline, sets up and throws way over the field, over the head of A.J. Turner and into the hands of the free safety for Seton Hill, who's now made his way back to midfield before finally getting brought down. And that was Malik Scott, the redshirt senior, who intercepted that pass from Jared Keller. That was about 5 feet over A.J. Turner's head.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I thought Keller's going to run all by himself on that 3rd down play because since the receivers are covered, and he took a risk of throwing the football, and it ended up in an interception, so Seton Hill will have the football back, and they'll start at the 45-yard line in Edinboro's territory.
He's been a little bit gun-shy about scrambling. He likes to go for the second effort, but hasn't seemed to make the best decisions on that. Different look from Seton Hill as Chris Jones goes under center. 2 receivers on the far side and a fullback and running back in the backfield. The handoff is to Michael Valentino up the middle with the fullback in front of him, but hit with a gain of 4, 2nd and 6 for Seton Hill.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go for a big run. Surprisingly, he only gained 4 yards on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 6 for the Griffins.
And they'll return to that same formation. 2 receivers on the far side with the tight end on the line on the near side, fullback and running back in the backfield. The handoff again to Michael Valentino, who doesn't get quite as far, stopped at the line, some shoving going on the ground. A gain of about 0. 3rd and 6 for the Griffins in Edinboro's territory from Edinboro's 41-yard line. 12 and a half minutes to go in the first half. Edinboro trying to hold on to their 2-point lead. Seton Hill looks to the sideline for the play call. Now getting in their formation. They'll come out with 3 receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side, and just Michael Valentino to Chris Jones' right, who's no longer under center. He's about 6 yards from the line of scrimmage. Jones takes the snap, looks to the far sideline, gets the pass off deep to the sideline. It's way over everyone's head and incomplete. The intended receiver on that one was Keenan Humphrey.
Great pressure by the Edinboro defensive line, including Derek Dorr on Jones. And I thought Maurice was going to have a chance to make a one-handed grab for the interception. Either way, Seton Hill will punt the football once again, and Edinboro will have the football back.
And Matt Stewart, the senior punter. Matt Stewart, by the way, from Trabuco Canyon, California, which is right around my old stomping grounds. I'm from Southern California as well. He actually played football at a high school that I played against in my playing days. The punt into the end zone, a touchback for Edinboro as they get ready to start their next drive. So a little bit interesting how everyone kind of comes full circle. I've made my way out to Northwest Pennsylvania, and he's made his way out to Seton Hill University.
Support for WFSC is provided in part by John's Wildwood Pizzeria, open daily at 105 Erie Street in Edinboro. John's menu includes pizza, hoagies, wings, salads, and more. Information is at 814-734-7355 or on the web at johnswildwoodpizza.com.
Edinboro comes out, moving left to right, 2 receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side, and a tight end on the far side of the line. The handoff, fakes the handoff this time, over to Blake Reddick, who had a short out route. It was about a 5-yard out route, and in and out of his hands, incomplete. While we're on the topic, by the way, of Seton Hill's California players, they actually have 7 players from California, including a couple from Mater Dei High School, which is the premier high school for football in California, though there are a couple schools that might dispute that fact. 2 receivers far side, 1 near side for Walter Fletcher. who gets the handoff and goes up the middle, but stopped by the defensive line. A gain of nothing, 3rd and 10 from their own 20 is Edinboro.
Yeah, Seton Hill's defense was ready for another running play, and they didn't waste any time to break through the blocks and make a big tackle on Walter Fletcher.
A big play for Edinboro as they don't want to punt it away on a 3-and-out. 11 and a half minutes to go in the first half. Still leading by 2, looking to add to it. Tanaz Gregory and Blake Reddick on the far side, along with A.J. Turner and James Clark on the near side, and Walter Fletcher to Jared Keller's right. Keller takes the snap, looks down the far sideline for Tanaz Gregory, who makes the catch at the 40 and falls down immediately. It's a first down and a lot more as he ran a little bit of a post route over the middle of the field, a deep post. He gets all the way, they'll spot him at the 42, where Edinboro will continue this drive with the no-huddle offense. 2 receivers on the near side with the tight end on the near side of the line. 1 on the far side with Fletcher to Keller's right. Under 11 to go now in the first half. Keller takes the snap, hands the ball off to Walter Fletcher, who comes to the near sideline, to the 50, the 45 gets hit but keeps running to the 35 now, before finally getting knocked out of bounds at the 33 of Seton Hill's side of the field. Another first down for the Fighting Scots, who are rolling now.
Yeah, going back to that first play, great concentration by Gregory to keep an eye on the football and make sure he has the possession. And now from the previous play, Walter Fletcher, he rolls to the outside, finding blocks from the receivers, and gained a big amount of yards, and it's another first down for the Fighting Scots.
2 receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side with A.J. Turner, the actually double tight end set. The handoff is to Kyle Galick, but he gets hit from behind the line. It's a loss of about 3, it looks like. It'll be 2nd and 13 for Edinboro.
Yes, Seton Hill's defense, once again, they were ready for another running play up in the middle, and it'll be a 2nd down and 13.
And though it looked like they had 2 tight ends, I'll actually correct that. There was only 1 tight end on the far side of the line. That's A.J. Turner. The handoff is to Kyle Galick again, who bounces it out to the outside himself. He's to the 30, spins around, but getting dragged down by his jersey at the 29 or the 28 as they move an extra yard. 3rd down, but within 10. It's going to be 3rd and about 5, it looks like.
And I saw a flag on the play about the 33-yard line. And I think there's no flag on the play, so I think it must be like by accident someone tossing it into the field.
3rd and 5. 9 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first half. 14-12, Edinboro leads from inside Seton Hill's 30. 2 receivers on the near side with A.J. Turner on the line on the near side. Tanaz Gregory, the lone receiver, on the far side with the ball at the far hash. Keller takes a snap, hands it off to Kyle Galick, who gets through the line but dragged down by his feet. Only manages to get to the 24. 4th and, I want to say 3 for the Fighting Scots. Looks like 4th and 2.
And Edinboro's offense is still on the field, and I think they're going to go for it again. They are 1 for 1 on 4th down conversions in this game.
And it's actually 4th and 1, so just 1 yard to go to get that first down from Seton Hill's 24. 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. As the play clock ticks away, they are now ready. Offense is 2 receivers near side, 1 far with the tight end on the far side of the line. The far side receiver in motion. The handoff is to Walter Fletcher up the middle. Looks like he's got a first down as he gets knocked down at the 21 of Seton Hill's side of the field, and they will move the chains.
Yeah, now Edinboro's 2 for 2 on 4th down conversions. A nice job by Fletcher just to gain 3 yards on that play. It's another first down on this drive, and they're at near the 20-yard line in Seton Hill's territory.
2 receivers near side with the tight end on the near side of the line. 1 far. Fakes the handoff to Walter Fletcher. Finds Blake Reddick wide open in the slot, who evades 1 defender and into the end zone. A 21-yard touchdown reception for Blake Reddick with under 8 minutes to go. Edinboro building on that lead.
That's a beautiful pass by Keller to Reddick. And after the catch, I like how Reddick just rolled into the inside and hustled all the way for another touchdown. And now Keller has 2 touchdown passes in this game for over 100 yards. And that would be the first touchdown reception for Reddick in this game.
As Jake Monroe comes out for the extra point, he's 2 for 2 in this game. Andrew Tomko, by the way, the holder and Monroe boots it right through the uprights. Easy peasy. 21-12. They added the point to the wrong side of the scoreboard, and I am not an independent thinker. 21-12, we're going to go ahead and take a quick 30-second break. You're listening to 88.9 WFSE Fighting Scots Radio.
Sponsors are the lifeblood of our radio station, providing funding that enables us to provide great programming throughout the day and live sportscasts such as the one you're listening to right now. We appreciate all of our sponsors, including Bonnell's Auto Group, featuring collision services and auto sales in Erie and Fairview, and auto class replacement and repair, along with full rod shop services and restoration in Fairview. Information on each service can be found on the web at bonnellsauto.com.
Has never lost against Seton Hill at home, and they don't intend to today. They are currently leading by 9 points, 21-12. That pause was because I had to do a little bit of math, and I tell you guys every week, it's not my strong suit when I'm on air. 21-12, under 8 to go in the first half. Jake Monroe out for the kickoff following Edinboro's touchdown, third touchdown of the game, and Monroe is 3 for 3 in point-after attempts. Kickoff return from the 10. He's now to the 25 and the 30 before getting tripped up and falling down graciously to the turf. That was Terrell Ford on the return.
Yeah, that's another good stop by Edinboro's special teams defense to make sure Ford doesn't go any further than the 30-yard line on that return. And I give a little update from PSAC around Pennsylvania. Bloomsburg up 19-0 against Lock Haven in the second quarter. And trying to wait for other scores from the PSAC, but we'll get to you later as Seton Hill will start their next drive right at the 30-yard line in their own territory.
Yeah, lots of games going on at the same time as this one today. 3 receivers near side, 1 far side for Seton Hill, moving quickly. Chris Jones drops back, looks over the middle of the field, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Ardell Brown. Incomplete, 2nd and 10 for the Griffins. Moving right to left, wearing their white jerseys with black pants and shiny gold helmets with the red stripe, racing stripe going down the middle of that helmet. See how quick this offense can move against the Fighting Scots this week. By the way, that touchdown for Blake Reddick, the first of his season, just the second of his career. He had 1 last year. 3 receivers near side, 1 far side. The pitch is to Sin-Q Sweeting, who attempts to get back to the line of scrimmage by getting to the near sideline, but he won't get there. A loss of about 1 as he's chased down by Edinboro's defense. Looks like it was Trey Hall and Billy DePaul who made that tackle.
It's not just these two players. I see like a group of Fighting Scots going after the running back, and that's what I remember Colin Ian once said, like from one of the games early in the season, like every team player goes after the running back for every running play.
7 minutes to go in the first half. Empty backfield already on the 3rd and long. It's 3rd and 12 for the Griffins. 3 receivers on the far side, 2 on the near side for Chris Jones. Takes the snap, drops back, looks towards the near sideline, down the near sideline, but sacked by Ethan Upperco, who managed to get through the offensive line and brought Jones down from behind. And on 4th and very long, the punt team comes out for the Griffins, and Edinboro with another chance to score here with under 7 to go in the first half. Tanaz Gregory back to make the return.
Yeah, Jones didn't see it coming from the Edinboro's defense, and the big sack, and now another punt by the Griffins.
From their own 21, Tanaz Gregory stationed between the 35 and the 40 on Edinboro's side of the field, now moving up to the 40. The punt mishandled, just barely able to pick it up, and gets hit hard, fumbles it, and falling on it in the end zone is, I believe, Andre Dowdell Jr. That's a touchdown for Edinboro regardless.
Actually, that's Khalil Jackson II with the recovery. That's a big heads-up play by the special teams defense of Edinboro, going right after the punter after a muffled snap.
Matt Stewart, the punter, unable to handle the snap. Wasn't necessarily bad. It was at around his head. Mishandled it. Able to get to it and had to figure out what to do with it. He was hit hard immediately by Khalil Jackson II, who then fell on the ball that Stewart fumbled in the end zone. An easy touchdown for the freshman, but he's going to take it. Monroe's going to take that, punch his extra point through the uprights, and all of a sudden Edinboro with an even bigger 28-12 lead with just over 6 minutes to go in the first half. There's an Edinboro player down on the field, though, so a little bit. We can't have it all good. We have to have a little bit of raining on our parade. Speaking of rain, by the way, haven't seen any rain for a while, and hopefully I don't jinx it by saying that.
No, right now it's beautiful and sunny, peeking through the clouds. Like you said, hopefully keep that way, and fingers crossed.
And that Edinboro player has gotten up and is making his way off the field.
Support for WFSE is provided in part by Bono's Auto Glass in Fairview, offering professional automotive glass repair, window tinting, and window replacement services. Information is available online at bonosautoglass.com.
This game has been everything Edinboro needed it to be after 2 losses the last 2 weeks and 3 losses in the last 4 weeks to open PSAC West play. Finally getting a little momentum going. Some big plays from Walter Fletcher, from Blake Reddick, and even now Khalil Jackson II, who's a wide receiver. But on that play was on the punt return team. And Wayne Bradford, sorry, Luke, but Wayne Bradford in the game notes he's quoted is talking about the importance of winning on special teams every week, and especially this week. And we saw that from the punt return team.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think you said many times before this season, I believe Edinboro's offense, they established the running game, which led to establish the passing game, and I think it's paying off so far in this game.
Monroe's kickoff, a low-line drive, fielded from the 10 by Terrell Ford, who makes his way upfield, no blocker in front of him, but getting past a couple Edinboro defenders, and finally wrapped up by a huddle of Edinboro players. He is downed at the 28-yard line of Seton Hill's side of the field with 6 minutes to go in the first half. Yeah, good job by the special teams. It's just not one player, but there are like many players going after Terrell Ford on the return. And right now, Seton Hill will start at the 28-yard line in their own territory, and hopefully Edinboro can stop another run against the Griffins. Yeah, we've seen the offense putting together some nice drives. We've seen special teams putting together some big plays. It's time for the defense to kind of make some noise here in this game by preventing Seton Hill from making noise. Split back for Chris Jones. The handoff is to one of those backs who's brought down way behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 3 all the way down at Seton Hill's 25. Another big pile of Edinboro players surrounding Sinkyu Sweden on that carry. And like you said, it's a 2-yard loss. It'll be second down and 12 at the 25-yard line in their own territory. And they'll send one of those backs, Michael Valentino, off the field. So they'll return to a little bit more of a typical look from their offense. As Edinboro looking to maintain their 16-point lead in the first half. 2 receivers either side this time, with Sinkyu Sweeting to Chris Jones right. Jones looks downfield for the pass. It's tipped at the line and incomplete on the sideline. Somebody got their hand in and just was able to deflect that. Yeah, Ardell Brown was the intended receiver. It was funny is I think both Brown and Zell Hendrick were fell at the same time when they tried to go for the football. Yeah, I mentioned the conditions on the field likely not affected by the rain and hail that we had earlier. However, we have seen a couple players slipping, so I may not have been exactly correct on that one, though it has dried up here. 2 receivers either side for Chris Jones with Sinkyu Sweeting to his right. Jones takes the snap, drops back, looks towards the far sideline. Way deep pass attempt and incomplete. Lots of contact, but not too much the referees deem. So 4th and long, and we're going to see that punt team come out again as Branson Smith, that freshman cornerback, was the one on coverage and prevented another huge completion from the Griffins. Yeah, this time he finally managed to turn his head around and find the football and cover the intended receiver on that big pass play, and it'll be another punt for the Griffins, and Tanaz Gregory will be the punt returner for the Fighting Scots. So as Stewart comes out to make the punt, this time he handles the snap pretty well. Tanaz Gregory will make the fair catch from the 39-yard line on Edinboro's side of the field. And that's where they'll start their drive with 5 minutes to go in the first half. Edinboro still leading 28-12.
Supporters of WFSC includes the Edinboro Hotel Bar at 100 Meadville Street in downtown Edinboro, providing a variety of lunch and dinner items every day, along with full-service catering and private party accommodations. Details are available at 814-734-5103 or online at EdinboroHotelBar.com.
Edinboro will begin their drive as they move left to right with 2 receivers on the far side and just James Clark on the near side with the ball at the near hash. A.J. Turner, the tight end, on the far side of the line, and Jared Keller in taking snaps for the Fighting Scots. Keller drops back, looks for James Clark downfield, in and out of his hands as he falls to the floor. Incomplete on what would have been a huge reception for James Clark, who, by the way, does have 4 receptions in this game, so he is tied for the school record in career receptions. He needs just 1 more to sit alone atop the Fighting Scots record.
Yeah, he was so close to setting the new record, but it just slipped off his hands, and it's 2nd down and 10 for Edinboro.
And that would have been a great way to get that record, not just on a short route like he's had most of this game, but on a nice little streak route. 2 receivers far, 1 near again with the tight end this time on the near side of the line. Fletcher to Keller's right. The handoff is to Fletcher this time, who has to bounce it out towards the near sideline, but dragged down by his jersey at the line of scrimmage. A gain of nothing, 3rd and 10 for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, Fletcher did his best to roll on the outside, and I think number 44, Tyler Afa, tried to stay with Fletcher and made the tackle for no gain on the play, and it's 3rd down and 10 for the Fighting Scots.
3rd down and 10, they return to that same formation. 2 on the far, 1 on the near, and the tight end on the near side of the line. This time Fletcher's to Keller's right. That's the near side of the field. And that's the short side of the field with the ball in the near hash. Keller takes the snap, looks for the pass this time along the far sideline. Tanaz Gregory has his man deep, but not the free safety, who makes the interception underneath Tanaz Gregory before falling out of bounds at Seton Hill's own 34-yard line.
Yeah, I thought Keller fooled the defensive back, number 24, Noah Davis, but he threw it over Tanaz Gregory's head, and Davis managed to get another interception for Seton Hill's defense. And the Griffins will have the football again at the 34-yard line in their own territory.
So number 24 this game is actually Tyrell Best Savage. There was a little bit of a uniform change at the beginning of the game. Hasn't come into play yet, but it just did. Best Savage with the interception as Keller underthrew that one. 2 on the near side, 1 on the far side, and split backs for Chris Jones and the Seton Hill offense. Makes the completion in the middle of the field on a short streak. He's at midfield to the 45, falling forward as he's brought down all the way to Edinboro's 42-yard line. 1st and a lot more for Seton Hill as they move the ball now already on Edinboro's side of the field, but there's a Fighting Scot slow to get up.
And it's number 24, Maurice Sims, and he's getting back on his own power, and he's heading back to the sideline with his own power, so he'll be okay.
Uriah Rajkumar with the reception. Just basically everybody go. A streak route for everyone, and Rajkumar open over the middle of the field. Made the reception, got a few more yards out of it. 4 minutes to go in the first half. Seton Hill attempting to score. Cut the deficit as they trail by 16 points, 28-12. 1st and 10 from Edinboro's 42. They come out, 2 receivers near side, 1 on the far side. Split backs again for Chris Jones. He will hand it off to Sin-Q Sweeting, who goes up the middle with Valentino in front of him. He gains about 3 yards, 2nd and 7 for Seton Hill.
Yeah, Edinboro's defense was expecting another running play by Sin-Q Sweeting. And like you said, it's a gain about 3 yards and 2nd down and 7.
With those split backs, they had Michael Valentino to the right of Chris Jones and Sin-Q Sweeting to the left. They send Valentino straight ahead through the offensive line to block and give Sin-Q Sweeting the ball to follow him through the line. 2 receivers near, 1 far with split backs again for Chris Jones. Edinboro brings a little bit of extra pressure down the far sideline for the pass, but way over the intended receiver Ardell Brown's head. Incomplete as the pass ended up 10-15 yards past where Ardell Brown was.
There is a flag on the play at the 45-yard line at Seton Hill's offensive line.
Edinboro brought a cornerback blitz on that one.
Yeah, I believe that was Zero Hendricks on the blitz. And it's a holding against Seton Hill, but the penalty will be declined, so they could have the incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down and 7. And I believe the intended receiver was number 17, Ardell Brown. He tried to do a hitch and go, but he kind of slipped on the turf, and the ball was over his head during the pass attempt.
Yeah, and they were trying to capitalize on that corner blitz, but unable to do so. They send Michael Valentino off the field, so just 3 receivers near, 1 far for Chris Jones, with Sin-Q Sweeting to his right. Jones drops back for the pass, looks for Sweeting on the wheel route, who's wide open at the 15, now the 10, before finally getting brought down with a big hit from Maurice Sims at Edinboro's 9-yard line, and he was wide open on the wheel route to the far sideline.
Yeah, the Seton Hill receivers, they were running fade routes deep into Edinboro's territory, and that left Wheeling all by himself with the wheel route reception, and it's like 1st down and goal at the 9-yard line.
Empty backfield for Seton Hill, 4 receivers on the near side, 1 on the far side. Chris Jones takes the snap. He keeps it himself. It's a QB keeper. He's to the 5, to the goal line, and brought out of bounds at the 1. I don't think you'll believe me, Luke, but I absolutely saw that one coming.
Yeah, I didn't even see it coming, but I'm glad you did. But luckily, though, I think Brandon Anderson made a big stop on Jones, and he just fell short at the 1-yard line in Edinboro's territory.
Yeah, from the 9-yard line, you don't often see an empty backfield on 1st and goal. So it was definitely just an attempt to spread out Edinboro's defense and give Chris Jones the opportunity. Chris Jones now under center with a fullback and running back behind him, sends the tight end in motion. The handoff is to the fullback up the middle, but he gets stopped at the line, and in fact, a couple inches behind the line. 3rd and goal from still about the 1 for Seton Hill, as a couple Edinboro players slow to get up, but everyone back on their feet.
Yeah, that's a big stop by Edinboro's defense, and this is another big play for the Fighting Scots if they want to force Seton Hill to a field goal, and there's about 1 minute and 33 seconds left here in the 2nd quarter.
Still under center, with 2 tight ends in for Chris Jones, just 1 receiver on the near side. I think they hand this off to Sweeting in the backfield with the fullback in to block for him. They do hand it off to Sweeting up the middle. Edinboro saw what I did. He stopped behind the line for a huge loss as Brandon Anderson shows what everyone else is feeling as he dances down the field all the way to the 25-yard line. A huge stop, 4th and goal for Seton Hill now, with just a minute to go as the clock ticks away. Their offense remains on the field. Both teams still have all 3 of their timeouts, and it looks like they're going to let the play clock tick to 0 before calling a timeout. That's what the head coach is letting the referee know on the sideline. And they just had to reset the play clock, so a little bit of miscommunication there. It was ticking, it was below 10, but it got reset back up to 25. So now ticking away. With under 30 seconds to go, they'll take the timeout at the last possible second, most likely to kick the field goal.
And for that big 3rd down play, I was expecting the Edinboro's defense line to collapse the offensive line and create a big pile on Sin-Q Swede. And Seton Hill will call their first timeout of this half, and they will have tried to attempt a field goal after this timeout.
Yep, with 18 seconds left in the first half, like Luke said. And the first timeout taken of this entire first half, believe it or not. Edinboro has jumped out to a 16-point lead, and they will hope to keep that as they head into the second half.
Support for WFSC is provided in part by John's Wildwood Pizzeria, open daily at 105 Erie Street in Edinboro. John's menu includes pizza, hoagies, wings, salads, and more. Information is at 814-734-7355 or on the web at johnswildwoodpizza.com.
As the timeout comes to an end, we'll see what Seton Hill has decided to do, whether they send the offense or the field goal team out. Chris Jones has made his way back out onto the field.
So it looks like Seton Hill's offense will stay on the field to go for another 4th down attempt. And looking at for Seton Hill, they are 2 for 4 on fourth down conversions so far in this game, and this will be their 5th attempt.
They need more than just a conversion, as it is 4th and goal, so first down has to be a touchdown, but they are within the 5 as Edinboro decides they need to take their own timeout. Looks like they might have been planning on a field goal, but Seton Hill came out with double tight ends.
Yeah, looking at some team statistics so far in this game, Edinboro has 218 total yards. Seton Hill has 171. The Fighting Scots have 94 rushing yards, and the Griffins have 36. However, Seton Hill has 135 passing yards, and the Fighting Scots had 124. Both teams have 3 penalties. The Griffins have 40 penalty yards, and the Fighting Scots have 30 yards in penalties. And looking at the first downs, the Griffins have 11, and Edinboro has 9. And looking at the total plays, Griffins have 43, and the Fighting Scots have 27. Edinboro is 2 for 2 in the red zone, while the Griffins of Seton Hill are 1 for 2.
Yeah, we've seen some strong offenses in this game for sure, but Edinboro a little bit of an edge, especially thanks to their special teams, the punt return team doing some damage, getting a couple points for themselves, 6 of them to be exact. The offense does come out with another empty backfield. Even the offensive line is spread out. And confused by this play call, Edinboro calls a second timeout. This is the 3rd timeout in the row and 2nd for Edinboro in a row. There are still 18 seconds left to go in this first half.
This will be the longest 18 seconds in this Edinboro home football game this season, I bet.
Looked like maybe another sneak opportunity like they ran on that 1st and goal from the 9. This time they had, even the offensive line was spaced out between each other, which you don't often see, as well as an empty backfield, so all the receivers out as well. So we'll have to see what Seton Hill brings to the table this time, as Edinboro just trying to figure out what they have to call to cover every possible play. They do come back out with their offense, so they are intent on trying to score to finish out the half. Of course, if they don't convert, Edinboro's deep in their own field anyways. Fullback and running back to the left of Chris Jones. 2 receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side. Sends the slot receiver on the far side in motion behind the line. Fakes the handoff to Sin-Q Sweeting. That receiver that was in motion ran to the near flat, but in and out of his hands and incomplete. Turnover on downs for Edinboro, who will start from their own 4-yard line. Sort of a bittersweet play there. 13 seconds to move the ball 96 yards downfield if they want to score, or they could just take a knee and finish out this half.
I bet they're going to take a knee because there's just 13 seconds left in the first half, and they're up by 16 points, and I don't see why they would not take a risk late in this second quarter, so I think that's what they're going to do.
But wouldn't it be nice to see a 96-yard touchdown reception
from
James Clark?
That would be awesome.
To get that record with a 96-yard touchdown reception.
Of course,
not everyone shares our excitement, so they do come out in the kneeling formation, and Keller will take the knee. And with no timeout called, the clock will tick away to 0 to end the first half. Edinboro has come out out in front, 28-12 lead they'll take into the second half, as both teams scored on their first 2 drives, but Seton Hill unable to kick it through the uprights, so they just settled for 12 points as Edinboro went up 14-12 and then followed with another 2 touchdowns to take that 28-12 lead here at Sox Harrison Stadium, where the Edinboro Fighting Scots are hosting the Seton Hill Griffins in a PSAC West football matchup. Both teams 1-3 heading into this game. And Luke, what have you seen from the defenses on both sides? We knew it was going to be an offense-heavy game, but what have you seen from the defenses?
Mainly from Edinboro, I kind of describe as bend, don't break. They just allowed a few big plays, but they kept putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and they got a couple of sacks, and they got some couple of turnovers, including for the special teams defense, recovered a muffled snap and returned it for a touchdown. And for Seton Hill's defense, they're allowing too many big plays from the Edinboro's offense. And right now, since we're up after this halftime, Edinboro just needs to maintain the lead because if you remember at the beginning of the pregame show, Seton Hill was down like 31-7 in the third quarter, and they came back to win the game against Mercyhurst. So for the Fighting Scots, all they have to do is do what they always did playing in the first half and probably create more opportunities and capitalize them so that way they can get their second win of the PSAC West.
If there's any bright light for Edinboro, knowing the comeback Seton Hill made last week, it's that halfway through the game, for the second half, they turned to Chris Jones, the quarterback, the backup quarterback at the time, and he's the one who orchestrated that comeback. In this game, they came out with Chris Jones to start the game, so it's not like they have Chris Jones in their back pocket to help orchestrate another comeback. He's the one who's been leading this offense, who they've been reading the entire game. So if there's any bright spot as far as that cautionary tale of last week's comeback, it's that Chris Jones, they've already seen Chris Jones in this game. For the defense, Edinboro's defense has 2 sacks in the game, including a solo by Ethan Upperco and a team-up between Bishop Simmons and Derek Dorr. Derek Dorr, by the way, leads along with Maurice Sims in tackles with 7 in this game, followed closely behind by Trey Hall and Branson Smith. Trey Hall, by the way, who is wearing a club on his hand, has been for the last 2 weeks, and has been sharing time with Connor Kelly for the last couple weeks because of whatever's going on in that situation. Branson Smith, the freshman cornerback who we saw almost hurt Edinboro with the pass interference on defense early in the game, but he's also made some huge plays for Edinboro in this game. Here at Sox Harrison Stadium, we're going to go ahead and give you guys a break with some music with 17 and a half minutes till kickoff. You are listening to 88.9 WFSC, Fighting Scots Radio.
For those who think, those who create, those who have big ideas, like really, really big, some would call them crazy ideas. For those who have been told no, no chance, and not you. Those who never miss practice, even at 6 a.m. Those who break a sweat, break hearts, and break records. For those who work harder, smarter, faster, there's Edinboro University. For those who strive. Start now at edinboro.edu.
Third quarter with 8 minutes and 44 seconds to go. Slippery Rock is up 14-3 against Clarion at halftime. And the game just got started between IUP and Gannon and is tied at 0 with 12 minutes and 32 seconds left here in the first quarter. And later at 4 p.m., Millersville, they will host, let me find out, see who they're playing. For 4:05 p.m., West Chester will visit East Stroudsburg. And for Millersville, they will host Malone at 4 p.m., so those are the other PSAC games going on for you today.
Definitely a lot to keep an eye on as the season draws nearer to an end. Only a few games left for each team. Only a couple of games left in PSAC West play, or in divisional play if you're not in the West. Edinboro currently slated to play Kutztown in the final week at home. However, Kutztown is currently in the chase for the East Championship, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well.
And looking over some first-half statistics for Edinboro, running back Walter Fletcher made 8 carries for 85 yards and 1 touchdown. The longest run was 46 yards. Gerard Killer, the quarterback for the Fighting Scots, he completed 8 out of 16 passes for 124 yards with a pair of touchdowns and a pair of interceptions. Quarterback Chris Jones from Seton Hill, he completed 13 out of 22 passes for 135 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Seton Hill running back Sen Q Swede made 10 carries for 38 yards and has not scored a touchdown yet in this game.
And I mentioned Edinboro will return the kickoff to start the second half as they booted it away to start the first half. Tanaz Gregory will make his way back for the return along with Zaril Hendrick. Tanaz Gregory, so nice to see him making multiple returns in a game. He has been limited in action since California when he went down with an apparent injury. He has made some returns in a couple of different games, but he's made all the returns in this game, so that's good to see from Gregory. Seton Hill will get this game started with a high punt, or a high kickoff, nice and shallow return from just inside Edinboro's 30 and brought down at the 31.
Yeah, there's a flag on the play at the 4-yard line in Seton Hill's territory, and the returns by number 69, Trey Staunch, the offensive left guard for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, Trey Staunch, who's been a commanding part of the offensive line here at Edinboro. He actually holds the current record for consecutive games started at Edinboro. He was competing with Alex Molick on the offensive line for that distinction, but it is now his own after Molick didn't start a couple of weeks ago. Trey Staunch, by the way, also the offensive captain of the game this week.
And there's a offside penalty against Seton Hill's kicking team, and so it'll be a 5-yard penalty, and Edinboro will start their new drive in the second half at the 36-yard line.
They will begin their drive with 3 receivers on the near side and just a tight end on the far side of the line. Walter Fletcher to Keller's left. The ball at the far hash, sends the inside receiver in motion, fakes the handoff, or actually gives the ball to Kyle Galick, who's in the game, but he just gets back to the line before getting brought down.
Yeah, Keller's trying to fake the defense, thinking that he has the football, but Galick has the possession, but Seton Hill's defense wasn't fooled for that play. It'll be second down and 10, and it'll still be at the 36-yard line in their own territory.
And the ball a little bit closer to the middle of the hashes, but they still come out with 3 receivers near side, 1 tight end on the far side. Fake handoff to Galick this time. This time it's to Andre Dowdell Jr. On the 5-yard stop route, he makes the catch and is brought down, a gain of 5 for Edinboro.
Nice quick pass from Keller to Dowdell Jr., and like you said, just gained about 4 yards. They just need 6 yards if they want another first down on this first drive in the second half.
Edinboro keeping the pace up, now sends 3 receivers to the far side, 2 to the near side, an empty backfield on 3rd, and actually it's 6 for Edinboro. I misspoke earlier, as I do quite often in yardage situations. Keller drops back for the pass, looks for Tanaz Gregory over the middle of the field, but it's a little bit too far in front of him, and Tanaz Gregory wisely slaps it to the ground. Incomplete, 4th and 6. James Clark makes his way off the field, and now the rest of the offense will do the same, as Andrew Tomko, who we have not seen take a single snap at quarterback, will make his way onto the field to punt.
Yeah, Tomko is doing a very good job with the punts so far this season. I'd like to see him make a very good punt against Seton Hill.
And a interesting look from Edinboro's punt team. As Tomko punts it high into the air, it'll bounce at Seton Hill's 35 and in Edinboro's favor all the way down to the 20 and around the 18, where Seton Hill will fall on it and a flag will immediately come out. As they talk that over, Edinboro's punt formation on that play had 2 gunners to the far side, 1 to the near side, and just 4 guys on the offensive line, or on the line. The long snapper, and then a guard to his right, and then guard and tackle to the long snapper's left, in order to maintain 3 guys in the second level to protect Tomko. I've never seen a punt formation like that. Seemed to have worked somewhat in their favor, but we'll see what this penalty is.
And it's blocking it back against Edinboro. It'll be a 10-yard penalty from the end of the punt. It'll be a first down for Seton Hill as they start their first drive in the second half, and they'll be about around probably the 26 or the 27-yard line.
Yeah, all those flags came out at the end of the play. I have to believe it was Edinboro getting a little bit too close to the punt returner on that one, giving him a little bit of a shove towards the end of the play, trying to get him to fall on it so they could take the ball away. No, says the referees. Spread out, 2 receivers either side for Seton Hill, moving left to right. The handoff is to Michael Valentino, who makes his way towards the near sideline. He's got a first down and more, finally brought down by Lindell Service Jr. with a big hit. But the damage was done on that play as he made it all the way to the 46-yard line, a huge rush for Valentino to open Seton Hill's drive.
Yeah, Valentino, he kind of rolled to the outside near Seton Hill's sideline, kept dropping his feet to gain another first down.
still spread out, the ball on the near hash for Chris Jones. He'll take the snap, hand it off to Valentino up the middle again. He gets hit at the line and stopped by Derek Dorr and a couple of his friends. Derek Dorr's helmet comes off at the end of the play. Miles Turner's helmet is also off. So they will have to come off the field for a play as a flag came out at the end of the play.
And we'll wait to hear what the penalty was. Like I say, good job for Edinboro's defense as they were expecting a running play in the middle and a good stop on Valentino. And we'll wait to hear what the penalty might be. And it's an unnecessary roughness penalty against Seton Hill.
So Miles Turner's helmet came off as a result of the unnecessary roughness. So he doesn't have to come off for a play. However, Derek Dorr's helmet did not come off as a result of that penalty. So he does have to come off for a play. In his place will be Barrett Hoffman.
And
the unnecessary roughness was on Matthew Nauer, the freshman offensive line.
And it'll be a replay of first down for the Griffins, and they're going to be at probably the 30-yard line.
13 minutes to go already. A lot of action going on here at Sox Harrison Stadium. Edinboro came into the half leading 28-12, and that's where the score sits 2 minutes into the quarter. Seton Hill, 3 receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side as they attempt to move left to right from their own 30-yard line. Chris Jones takes a snap, drops back, looks down the middle of the field, connects with his intended receiver, Terrell Ford, who evades the defender. He's to the 40, falling forward as he's brought down by Ethan Upperco, and down at the 45. It's still second and about 11 for the Griffins.
Yeah, Ford was all by himself, not covered. He caught a good pass and gained a big chunk of yards. And like you said, it's second down and 11, right at the 45-yard line in their own territory.
Derek Dorr makes his way back onto the field as they return to 3 far, 1 near for Chris Jones, who immediately looks to the near sideline, connects with Ardell Brown, who doesn't get brought down immediately, and stumbles forward to get the first down before he falls at Edinboro's 41-yard line.
Yeah, that was Ardell Brown, the intended receiver. Man, a nice good catch against Earl Hendrick, and then he rolls into the outside, then dive for another first down as the Griffins are at the a 41-yard line.
12 minutes to go in the third quarter. Edinboro leading 28-12. 3 far, 1 near again for Chris Jones. Hands the ball off to Michael Valentino up the middle. He gets hit at the line and brought down by Derek Dorr and Trey Hall.
Yeah, good job by Dorr and excuse me there, Trey Hall breaking the blocks and found Valentino on the carry, and it's no gain on the play. It'll be second down and 10 for Seton Hill.
And this time they return to the 2 wide receiver set on either side, with Valentino still in to Chris Jones' left. Haven't seen Sweeting so far on this drive. Jones connects with Ardell Brown over the middle of the field. He's to the 30. He's got a first down and more as he makes his way downfield and out of bounds at Edinboro's 19. Into the red zone the Griffins go, threatening to score for the first time since the first quarter.
Yeah, Brown was open in the middle running a short route while the other receivers are going fade. And then Jones found Brown in the middle of the hash marks, and he rolled near to Edinboro's sideline, and another first down for the Griffins.
Ardell Brown comes out to take a breather. 2 receivers either side with the ball at the far hash. Valentino in at Jones's left. Jones takes a snap, looks towards the near sideline, in over the head of the intended receiver, incomplete. Uriah Rajkumar was the intended receiver on that one, but no connection made. Second and 10 for the Griffins.
Yeah, Jones trying to throw a quick pass to Raju Kumar, and then I think it went by behind him on that incomplete pass.
Seton Hill looks to the sideline, under 11 to go now in the third quarter, threatening to score in the red zone. 2 receivers either side. for Chris Jones, who's about 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage, to take the snap. He'll drop back, pump fake on the screen, but sacked by Ryan Bischoff, the linebacker. A huge loss, and it's going to be 3rd and long for Seton Hill.
That was another unexpected sack for Seton Hill's Chris Jones, trying to pump fake, and then right out of nowhere, Ryan Bischoff made a big sack, like you said, and now 3rd down and 19, and Seton Hill are at the 28-yard line in Edinboro's territory, so this is going to be another big 3rd down play for Seton Hill.
Yeah, it looked like maybe a hitch and go or some kind of deceiving route where they need the pump fake, but as soon as he got that pump fake done, he got hit hard by Bischoff. Quick snap, 2 receivers either side, connects with Terrell Ford immediately, but then immediately hit hard by Zarel Hendrick, and Ford's helmet came off on the play, on the hit. No flag, but lots of conversation going down on the field as Ford makes his way off the field.
That's a nice heads-up play by Edinboro's defense, creating a big stop, and Seton Hill's offense are still on the field, and number 5, St. Q Sweeting will replace number 22, Michael Valentino, to be the new running back for Seton Hill. They're still going to go 4th down. They don't even want to punt the football.
Yeah, 4th and long, but in Edinboro's territory, so worth the gamble, they think. From the 23, they have to get all the way down to the 9. Empty backfield, 3 receivers near side, 2 far side, sends the slot receiver on the far in motion. Behind the 3 near side receivers, and there's a bunch of flags on the play. Somebody jumped. And we'll have to see. It was false start on the offense. And that's Damian Ramirez, the redshirt sophomore offensive lineman, who jumped. And that's not what they needed when they're trying to go for it on 4th and long.
No, now like they're going to push further and further away from the end zone. And Seton Hill's still going to go for a 4th down, so this is going to be another big gamble for the Griffins.
Now from Edinboro's 28-yard line, 4 receivers on the near side, 1 on the far side for Chris Jones, empty backfield. Now looks to the sideline, gets another call for the far side receiver on the one-on-one with Maurice Sims. Jones drops back, looks over the middle of the field, connects with his intended receiver who gets hit immediately at the 10. Is it enough for a 1st down?
Yes, it is. Oh, I'm not even sure. I was looking at the first pylon stick from the chain gang crew.
That was Uriah Rajkumar who ended up over the middle of the field. He was one of the 4 receivers on the near side. The chains have moved, but the referees didn't call for it. And it looks like they are going to measure. They've called a timeout so that they can bring the chains down. The spot of the ball, by the way, is all the way at the far numbers. So this is a long way to go for the chain gang if they're going to measure. There's lots of conversation going on between Edinboro and the referees, and now they are for sure going to measure. A huge reception for Raj Kumar over the middle of the field, who made the reception and then immediately got hit. So way to keep his hands on the ball and give Seton Hill a chance here. And this will be an important part of what happens with 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Edinboro leading 28-12. They placed the chains, and it's very short.
So very close, but it's not enough for Seton Hill. It's another turnover on downs, and I think that's the 3rd time in this game for Seton Hill. And Edinboro will have the football once again, and they will start about near the 10-yard line in their own territory with 9:05 left here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, they were a full yard short on that, so I'm not sure what the referees were seeing from the other side of the field. But like I said, they were a full football field width away from the chains. So Edinboro's Jared Keller will come out, start the drive with 3 receivers to the near side, just a tight end on the line on the far side, sends the inside receiver in motion, hands the ball off to Walter Fletcher up the middle, who's driving with contact. He gets all the way to the 17-yard line. It's a gain of 7 for the Fighting Scots.
Great job by Fletcher to drive his feet, and he doesn't care how many Seton Hill players are trying to tackle him, and it's a good carry for 7 yards and a second down and 3.
2 receivers on the near side, 1 on the far side with the tight end behind the offensive line, acting like a fullback, giving a little bit of protection to Walter Fletcher, who doesn't see a hole up the middle, bounces it to the sideline, gets a couple yards before getting tripped up around the 25. They'll spot him at the 24, and that's a first down for the Fighting Scots with 8.5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Nice job by Fletcher. He was just running through the pile, and then he escaped and rolled to the right, to Edinboro's right, and rolled around, like I said, got another first down, and they're at the 24-yard line in their own territory.
And they return to that formation with A.J. Turner slightly behind the offensive line. Walter Fletcher is a few yards behind him, so Turner a little bit more of a fullback in this situation. Fletcher up the middle with a block from Turner, up to midfield to the 40, being chased, closing in on the gap to the 20, the 10. They won't catch him. They're falling down. Touchdown, Walter Fletcher on the huge rush with under 8 minutes to go. That was a race to the end zone. And Walter Fletcher, he never looked back. 2 Seton Hill players hustled their way to Fletcher, but couldn't make the tackle. An excellent run. And that's the first touchdown here in the second half. And it's now 34-12, Edinboro. And the Griffins, like you said, 2 guys chasing Fletcher. They weren't gaining distance on him. They were closing the gap, but one of them slipped, and after that, there was no chance. Even if they had brought him down, it would have been well within the red zone. Monroe's extra point attempt, like so many others this year, good, as he ends up on the ground, looks to the referees for a call, but doesn't get one. 7 minutes, 52 seconds left in the third quarter, and Edinboro has taken a 35-12 lead. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to 88.9 WFSE, Fighting Scots Radio.
I had PTSD.
For those who think, those who create, those who have big ideas, like really, really big, some would call them crazy ideas. For those who have been told no chance, and not you. Those who never miss practice, even at 6 a.m. Those who break a sweat, break hearts, and break records. For those who work harder, smarter, faster, there's Edinboro University. For those who strive. Start now at edinboro.edu.
The running back for Edinboro has been a huge part of this offense, and like we talk about every week, and like Luke mentioned earlier, establishing the run game. And he's not only establishing the run game, he is the offense at this point for Edinboro. A huge touchdown run, giving Edinboro an even bigger lead as they strike first in this third quarter, halfway through the third quarter. Monroe's kickoff following the touchdown will be taken by Terrell Ford at the 10. Now to the 20 with a blocker in front of him, breaks through the mass, but hit and falling forward, he's downed at the 32. And as this game goes on, there's been a lot more extracurricular activity going on. It started with 2 unsportsmanlike conduct calls after the first 2 Seton Hill touchdowns, and has since made its way onto regular play with some extra words being exchanged, some pushing and shoving. And the heavens have opened up, and some rain has made its way onto the field again. Haven't seen rain since early in the game. We saw hail right before the game started. As Seton Hill begins this drive, 3 receivers to the near far side, 1 to the near side. It's a screen pass, but over the head of Sin Q Sweeting and incomplete. 2nd and 10 from the 32 for Seton Hill.
A nice job by David Ballou, the third, not the second. I was going to say the second, but he's the third. He put tremendous pressure on Jones and forcing an incompletion on that screenplay.
Yeah, we've got seconds, thirds, and juniors on this team, so sometimes it's a little tough to keep up with, but we do our best. As Seton Hill now huddling, it's a rarity for them in this game so far. 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, trailing by 23 points. Seton Hill looking to drive. 3 receivers far side, 1 near side again. The play clock ticking away. They get the ball off in a hurry, and throwing away the ball is Chris Jones under pressure. There was not a single white jersey within 15 yards of that ball, and all the referees going to look at each other now. And the flag makes its way onto the field. Zarel Hendrick, a little bit of a celebration as he pumps his fist. It looks like it'll be intentional grounding against the Griffins.
Yeah, I did see Jones throwing an incomplete pass, and like you said, there's no open receiver, and I do agree with the penalty that it is an intentional ground against Seton Hill, so it'll be a loss of down.
So they lose the down, and it basically we treat it as though he was sacked from the spot. That spot is the 17. I mentioned Zerrell Hendrick pumped his fist in celebration. He was part of that pressure. A little bit of a corner blitz package coming from Edinboro. Seton Hill wasn't able to defend it. Third and extremely long for the Griffins, with two receivers either side for Chris Jones and Michael Valentino to his right. Jones takes the snap, looks downfield, looks for Valentino, who hadn't even made his way towards the sideline where the pass ended up. It's incomplete, but there's flags on the play that are probably going to be an infraction against Edinboro's defense. Like I said, Valentino unable to make his way to the sideline where he wanted to be because there were two red jerseys on him.
It looks like going to be roughing the passer. I think I saw number 38, Ryan Bischoff, trying to go after the quarterback. And there was a holding penalty against Edinboro defense as well, but that will be declined, and they will enforce the roughing the passer penalty against the Fighting Scots, so it's an automatic first down for the Griffins.
Yeah, the worst part about that play is that the 15 yards they get from it, from the penalty, wouldn't have been enough to even get them close to a first down, but it's an automatic first down on a roughing the passer. So a bad mistake by Edinboro's defense. Now Seton Hill with an opportunity, 1st and 10. Two receivers either side for Chris Jones. With Valentino to his left, the handoff is to Valentino up the middle, gets hit at the line, driving forward, gets just about a yard on the run, 2nd and 9 for Seton Hill.
Yeah, Edinboro's defense was very prepared for another run by Seton Hill's offense, and early in the game, the Griffins were threatening to kneel on the running plays, but right now, since it's in the third quarter and Edinboro's defense are quite getting used to seeing those plays from time to time.
Two receivers again. It's actually 2nd and 8 on either side of the ball for Chris Jones, who drops back for the pass, looks over the middle of the field, has to scramble, gets the ball out and to the sidelines. Incomplete. There was someone in the neighborhood of that one. But lots of whistles going on here.
Yeah, there's a flag on the play at midfield, and there's a flag at the 25-yard line at Seton Hill's offensive line. So,
yeah, we'll have to see what both of these are. Just under 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Edinboro is leading 35-12 as their defense looking to stop Seton Hill's offense and give Edinboro's offense a chance to add to their lead. Barrett Hoffman, the defensive lineman, comes off the field in favor of Miles Turner, who was getting a quick breather.
There's a holding penalty against Seton Hill.
So the penalty was holding against Seton Hill, but then at the end of the play, or towards the end of the play, they called sideline interference on Edinboro. They were warned back at the end of the second half. I believe it was their second sideline warning. So not just the defense making a little bit of mistakes here, the sideline in general, as they need to get that under control. Everyone takes one giant step back to make sure they don't interfere again. Three receivers far side, one near side. Zerrell Hendrick coming off the edge. The pass is low under pressure and incomplete to Ardell Brown. Zerrell Hendrick was real close to being offsides, but the offensive line read that perfectly and was actually able to defend against Zerrell Hendrick and Ethan Upperco, one right tackle handling both of them, but Chris Jones getting the ball off as quickly as possible and underthrowing it to Ardell Brown.
Yeah, Chris Jones was quickly panicked to try to throw the football to avoid the big pressure from Zerrell Hendrick on that blitz.
Three receivers far, one near for Chris Jones. Looks downfield, gets the ball out, but it's tipped at the line. Everybody scrambling for it, unsure whether that went backwards or forwards or whether it was a pass, but the referees ruling it incomplete.
Well, either way.
And they do rule it a forward pass incomplete. 4th down for Seton Hill.
Yeah, Edinboro will get the football back either way. Either it was a backwards pass and they try to recover the football, or a forward pass. So Tanaz Gregory will be the punt returner for the Flying Scots on 4th and 13 with 6 minutes and 37 seconds left in the third quarter.
3 gunners out for Seton Hill. The punt is a low line drive. Backing Tanaz Gregory up, he makes the catch at the 30. And that's where the Fighting Scots will begin their next drive of the third quarter with 6.5 minutes to go.
WFSC is sponsored in part by Bonnell's Auto Glass, offering pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs from locations in Erie and Fairview. Information is available on the web at bonnellsauto.com.
We, of course, would love to thank our underwriters here at WFSC, Bonnell's Auto Sales, Edinboro Hotel Bar, and John's Wildwood Pizzeria, as well as Maddie, who's back in the studio. She's not an underwriter, but she has dedicated her day, just as we all have, to helping WFSC cover Edinboro's sports. Jared Keller in the Edinboro offense, 2 receivers far, 1 near, sends the near one in motion. It's a jet sweep. Pitch forward to Tanaz Gregory, who's made his way to the far sideline. He's got a 1st down and more. Broken free, finally shoved out of bounds. And they'll spot him at Seton Hill's own 35-yard line. A huge carry for Tanaz Gregory.
Yeah, nice shuffle pass from Keller to Gregory. I thought Gregory's going to go for a big touchdown run for himself, just like Walter Fletcher did early in the third quarter.
That jet sweep run, very effective on that play. Tanaz Gregory making his way to the sideline and then upfield, seemingly untouched. 2 receivers near side, 1 far side. Keller drops back, looks towards the far sideline, doesn't see Clark open, and has to ground it in that area. Incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, I think he was throwing it towards to A.J. Turner, the tight end for the Fighting Scots. It'll be 2nd down and 10. They're still at the 35-yard line in Seton Hill's territory.
6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Edinboro leading 35-12. This time 3 receivers to the near side. A.J. Turner, the tight end, on the far side of the line. And Walter Fletcher to Jared Keller's left. Sends the inside receiver in motion, but hands it off to Walter Fletcher up the middle. Bounces it to the far sideline. He's going upfield. Close to a 1st down. If not a 1st down, they'll down him at the 25, which is where the 1st down marker is.
It'll be another 1st down for Edinboro.
And they do move the chains.
Yeah, quick fancy footwork by Fletcher to avoid being tackled, and ran out of bounds. And as we said before, it's another 1st down for Edinboro. They're at the 25-yard line in Seton Hill's territory.
3 to the near side, just the tight end on the far side of the line. And Fletcher to Keller's left with the ball at the far hash. Sends the inside receiver in motion again. Hands it off to Fletcher up the middle again. This time gets through the line in a couple extra yards. A gain of 6 before getting brought down. 2nd and 4 for the Fighting Scots.
Nice job by Fletcher going through the big pile between Seton Hill and Edinboro and gain a big chunk of yards. Right about probably 6 on the play. No, 7 as it's 2nd down and 3 at Seton Hill's 19-yard line.
2 receivers near, 1 far tight end on the far side of the line once more. They seem to like this one. This time they send the far side receiver in motion. Hand it off to Fletcher, who goes towards the far side of the field. He's to the sideline to the 5 and into the end zone. Another touchdown for Walter Fletcher, who cannot be stopped in this game.
Beautiful run by Fletcher. Just rolls to the outside. It goes around 3 Seton Hill players and made for another touchdown for Edinboro, and they're up 41-12 with less than 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and they're waiting for the extra point to be confirmed to make it 42-12.
After that great jet sweep play by Tanaz Gregory, they keep using that jet motion to deceive the defense. This time they sent James Clark, the far side receiver, in the jet motion, and then had Walter Fletcher run that way, knowing the defense had been pulled away from the far side of the field, and it worked. A touchdown, and Monroe's extra point is good. Under 5 to go, Edinboro now leads by 30 here at Sox Harrison Stadium over the Seton Hill Griffins.
Supporters for WFSC includes Bonnell's Auto Group, featuring collision services in Erie and Fairview, auto glass replacement and repair in Fairview, auto sales in Erie and Fairview, and full rod shop services and restoration in Fairview. Information on each service is on the web at bonnellsauto.com.
Walter Fletcher, like all of Edinboro's offense, is having quite the game.
Yeah, and looking at the individual statistics, he had 14 carries for 210 yards and 3 touchdowns. His longest carry is 76 yards, which was the second touchdown he ran early in the third quarter to when it was 35-12.
Yeah, last year against Seton Hill, he also had a 200-yard rushing game. He had a string of 100-yard rushing games in this season, but it was slowing down recently, and so it's nice to see him reach that 200-yard milestone again. Monroe's kickoff following the touchdown will be taken from the 12 by Terrell Ford, who evades a couple blocks, but he's going to get hit at the 30. Possible fumble as Edinboro fell on the ball, and there was no whistle. So as they determine who has the ball, they're going to look at it. And instead they rule him down by contact. So no fumble, not quite the excitement that Edinboro thought it would be. And Seton Hill will begin their drive from Edinboro's 29-yard line with 4 minutes, 49 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, Edinboro was very close to make a fumble recovery to start a new drive for Edinboro's offense right about the 29-yard line, but it will be Seton Hill's football.
Seton Hill will begin this drive. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side, and a tight end on the line on the near side. We haven't seen a tight end a lot without a fullback in. The snap in and out of the hands of the quarterback.
And as a fumble recovered by Edinboro, I think I see it with my own eyes. I think Edinboro has the football.
They did motion. It is Edinboro's ball as they attempt to get everyone off the dog pile, and they do confirm. And Brandon Rivers is the one who emerges from the pile with the ball.
Yeah, Edinboro's defense, they got a second chance to make a recovery, and they finally capitalized it. Now it's up to Edinboro's offense if they can capitalize the turnover to extend the lead by like 37 points.
Yeah, that's the second time the ball has changed hands, or the ball was fumbled on a snap by Seton Hill. The first was a punt, and the second was that play right there. Edinboro begins the drive. 2 receivers either side with Kyle Galick to Jared Keller's right. Keller takes a snap, looks left for Tanaz Gregory on a little bit of a bubble screen. He gets back to the line and an extra yard or 2, but not much more as it looks like rain has begun to fall once more here at Sox Harrison Stadium. Off and on the weather has been today.
That's a good pass by Gregory on that screen play. At least he gained like just 2 or 3 yards moving forward and not going backwards.
2 receivers far side, 1 near side. A.J. Turner, the tight end on the near side of the line. The ball at the near hash. The near receiver in motion. It's a jet sweep again to Tanaz Gregory, who makes his way to the far sideline, now cuts upfield. Up to Seton Hill's 17 before getting brought down. Still a yard or 2 short of the first down. Third, and it looks like 1. With under 4 to go, leading by 30 and looking to add to it now in the red zone. The Fighting Scots getting the play call. The ball at the far hash now after the jet sweep. 3 receivers to the near side, the tight end on the far side of the line with Galick in at Keller's left. Keller reads the defense, sends the inside receiver in motion, but the handoff is to Kyle Galick up the middle, who has a first down and a couple extra yards before getting tripped up all the way at the 14-yard line. 1st and 10 for Edinboro.
Yeah, Kyle Galick wasted no time. Carry the football to get enough for first down, and like that quick speed was just amazing.
John Long makes his way onto the field in place of Andre Dowdell Jr. He is the slot receiver on the near side of the field. There's 2 of them, 2 receivers on the near side. James Clark, the lone receiver on the far side, and Turner on the near side of the line. The handoff is to Kyle Galick, but an end around the other side to John Long, who heads away to the sideline. He'll only get back to the line of scrimmage. A gain of just about 1 on the trick play sniffed out by Seton Hill after the personnel change.
Yeah, Seton Hill was very ready for a trick play by Edinboro. And I think the best benefit for the Fighting Scots, they gained about 2 yards on the play, and they're at the 12-yard line in Seton Hill's territory on 2nd down and 8, and the wind is blowing really hard right now.
The wind has picked up out of nowhere. Rain is coming at us sideways, even some ice. Keller takes the snap, hands it off to Kyle Gaelic, but gets hit at the line and brought down. It's a loss of about 1, 3rd and 9 from Seton Hill's 13-yard line as debris is flying onto the field with these heavy winds that literally came out of nowhere. Umbrellas, as I look down at the crowd, are upside down. 2 receivers are on the near side, 1 on the far side for A.J. Turner, the tight end on the far side of the line, and Kyle Gaelic to Keller's left. It's 3rd and 9, but it's hard to pass when the wind is incredible. The snap over Keller's head. He picks it up, throws it away. There's not even a receiver on that side of the field. Incomplete. There is no flag on the play. Probably they might say he was out of the tackle box because he had to scramble.
Yeah, he has to be out of the pocket in order to throw the football into no coverage. And so it'll be 4th down, and Edinboro's offense is staying on the field.
Yeah, the only exception is Andre Dowdell Jr. has made his way back onto the field in favor of John Long. 2 near, 1 far with the tight end on the near side of the line. The ball at the far hash. 4th and 9. Keller rolls out to his left, looks to the end zone, diving but incomplete. To Tanaz Gregory just in front of the end zone. It would have been just enough for a 1st down, but heavy coverage from the Griffins. So a turnover on downs inside the red zone. Edinboro unable to punch it through with under 2 to go in the 3rd quarter.
The best part for Edinboro, that Seton Hill will start the football, I think, right at the 13-yard line. And now the weather is getting a little more crazy than ever right now, late in the 3rd quarter.
So Seton Hill will start their drive. 2 receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side. The snap is high and mishandled, but handed off successfully up the middle. Stopped at the line of scrimmage by Edinboro. 2nd and 10 for Seton Hill.
Yeah, Edinboro thought they'd recover another fumble, but I think it looks like Seton Hill got the ball first. It'll be still 2nd down and 10 at the 13-yard line. And I had to keep my head moving because of the rain on the windows. I'm trying to see how much time left.
Yeah, so the rain is coming directly at us. It is sideways rain at this point, changing directions quickly. So the window a little bit hard to see through, but we're doing our best. 2 to the near, 2 to the far. Running back, and mishandle snap again by Chris Jones, who can only fall on it. Behind the line of scrimmage, it's a loss of about 3 through the distorted window, if I can see that correctly. I don't blame him for not being able to handle these snaps. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him go under center at this point. That's 2 in a row he's had trouble handling as the rain calms down just a tad bit. And not really, actually, just changed directions. Under a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. Edinboro leads 42-12. Chris Jones not under center. He's still about 6 yards from the line of scrimmage with 2 receivers to either side of him. The ball at the far hash. It's 3rd and long for Chris Jones, who takes the snap cleanly this time. Looks downfield, scrambles, gets it to the sideline, complete.
But it looks like he'll fell short. I think that'll be number 19, John McKell, the 4th. He did make the reception, but he'll just fell short just about 3 yards from the 1st down. And Seton Hill will punt the football once again, and Edinboro will have the football back. And the clock winds down to 11 seconds. I'll count down for you. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
and
1.
They do get the punt off before the clock ticks away. End over end for Tanaz Gregory, who fields it within the 35. There's a flag, probably a block in the back as he gets back to the 40. Before getting brought down finally on the punt return.
Yeah, I did see a block in the back by number 17. I think it was DeAndre Dowdell with the block. So either way, the penalty will be against Edinboro, and I think they'll start their new drive in the 4th quarter at about the 30-yard line in their own territory.
Yeah, it can be quite hard on punt returns, and it was a block in the back against Edinboro. Like I was saying, it can be hard when you've got the gunner coming downfield. You just want to defend your punt returner. That's all you're trying to do. You're trying to keep him away. And as the gunner sometimes outruns the punt returner, you find yourself pushing him in the back, just trying to create distance and you don't even think about it, it just happens.
And we are right at the end of the third quarter. Edinboro leads this game 42-12.
It has been quite the offensive matchup, but Edinboro's offense showing that they have a little bit more in the tank than Seton Hill's.
WFSC is sponsored in part by the Edinboro Hotel Bar at 100 Meadville Street in downtown Edinboro, providing a variety of lunch and dinner items every day. Details are available at 814-734-5103 or online at EdinboroHotelBar.com. The Edinboro Hotel Bar, where you had me at hotel.
So we'll switch sides here as we head into the fourth quarter. Edinboro leading by 30 points and hoping to hold on to that to finish out the game.
And looking at other PSAC scores, Kutztown and Shippensburg are tied at 21, and they're just starting the third quarter. Bloomsburg, they won against Lockhaven with a final score of 33-7. Slippery Rock is up 28-10 at Clarion with less than 15 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Gannon is up 21-16 against IUP in the second quarter with 3 minutes and 49 seconds to go.
The offense for Edinboro finally making their way out onto the field to start their fourth quarter here at Sox Harrison Stadium as they host the Seton Hill Griffins. They got backed up because of that block in the back, so they will start the drive from their own 23-yard line as it looks like the rain has settled down. It is still falling, but not quite as hard now. Edinboro begins their drive. Two receivers to the near side, one to the far side. Sends the far side receiver in motion, but the handoff is to Walter Fletcher up the middle. Gets hit at the line, but driving forward, a gain of 3 yards. 2nd and 7 for Edinboro.
Once again, Seton Hill's defense was expecting another run in the middle of the offensive line. And
it looks like there was a timeout called. I didn't quite see who called it, but we'll have to check and see once the timeouts are adjusted on the scoreboard. Both teams are making their way down to the other side of the field, though.
I think because Edinboro went from right to left in the third quarter, they're trying to switch to the other side. They're going from left to right. And for Seton Hill, they're going to go from right to left. So I think that's what the confusion is right now. At first, I thought both teams are headed back to the locker room for some weird reason, but I think it's just a mistake on placing the football on the other side of the field.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I think we were thrown off because there was a punt, so the ball switched sides of the field on the punt, and so the referees either forgot or maybe intended to let one play go before they switched the sides of the field. However, now we are switched. Edinboro moving left to right. Two receivers to the far side, one to the near side. 2nd and 8 for the Fighting Scots with Fletcher to Keller's left. Sends the near side receiver in motion, hands it off to Walter Fletcher, has to bounce it out to the outside of the offensive line. He's to midfield, again broken free. One blocker to Nas Gregory with the block nice and clean. He's to the 10, the 5 before getting hit and stopped just before the end zone. Tanaz Gregory did an excellent job of turning around and blocking the cornerback that was taking him downfield. Actually, I think that was the free safety over the middle of the field, and making sure that he didn't hit him in the back. He blocked him straight on and helped Walter Fletcher get to the far sideline where he got even more yards out of it.
Another big run by Fletcher. I thought he was going to go for another big touchdown run on this play, but either way, it's first down and goal for the Fighting Scots.
Two receivers to the far side, to the near side, one to the far. The handoff is to Fletcher up the middle, gets hit at the line but falls forward, and it's a touchdown again for Walter Fletcher.
That is his 4th touchdown of this game. And the cannon fired off after another touchdown scored by the Fighting Scots, and it's 48-12. Edinboro over Seton Hill with less than 15 minutes to go in this game.
And with that touchdown, that rushing touchdown from Walter Fletcher, he now has the he's now 4th in career rushing touchdowns with 38. The extra point, Jake Monroe, not even a question. It's good. 49-12. When we come back in 30 seconds, you're listening to 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio.
For far too long, animals on farms and ranches were not afforded protections to ensure their humane treatment and care. Luckily, times have changed, and more farmers are raising their animals in accordance with American Humane science-based standards, which offer ethically driven consumers humanely raised products. The next time you're in the grocery store, be sure to choose foods that are American Humane certified. To learn more, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
Mr. Fletcher has had himself quite the day here at Sox Harrison Stadium, where the Edinboro Fighting Scots host the Seton Hill Griffins. Almost couldn't get that one out of my mouth. Hosting the Seton Hill Griffins, and so far having their way with them. A commanding 37-point lead, 14 and a half minutes left to go in this game. The Griffins running out of opportunities to come back. Jake Monroe's kickoff attempted to be fielded from the 5, but in and out of the hands of Terrell Ford and into the end zone. They will be forced to take the touchback.
That's unfortunate for the return. I think that was Terrell Ford on the return. He even slipped his hands, and he decided not to take any chances to take a knee and go for a touchback. And Seton Hill will start their new drive at the 20-yard line in their own territory. And going back to Walter Fletcher, he's now very close to have 300 yards of rushing in this game. And he has 17 carries so far in this contest against Seton Hill. So let's see Fletcher go for 300 yards rushing before the end of the game.
Two receivers either side for Seton Hill, moving right to left. It's a jet sweep of their own. He has to cut up the middle and only gets to the 27. It's only a gain of about 2, maybe 3.
It's second down and 8. They're at the 27-yard line, still in their own territory. And Edinboro's defense wasn't surprised that Seton Hill is going to run a jet sweep play of their own.
Two receivers either side for Seton Hill. The ball at the near hash from their own 27. Valentino to Chris Jones right. Jones takes a snap, finds Ardell Brown on the slant, quickly makes the reception, and they down him at the 35. Looks like enough for a first down. They'll move the chains.
Yeah, good job by Brown making the reception, facing one-on-one coverage by Maurice Sims, and maintains possession during the catch.
2 to each side for Jones. This time Valentino to his left. Jones takes the snap, hands it off to Valentino up the middle. Breaks through the line, but has someone on him. Brought down at the 40, a gain of about 5.
Yeah, just running up through the middle. That's a very good amount of yards. Gain about 5. It'll be second down and 5, and they're at the 40-yard line, and we have an Edinboro football player down on the ground.
Just under 13 to go. Edinboro still leading 49-12. Looks like the rain has slowed down considerably, though I do see some rain still falling. It's a lot lighter, a lot easier to manage than that huge gust that was coming through. By the way, stick around, why don't you? If you're on campus, listening. If you're off campus, listening. If you're anywhere around the country, streaming via ETV on YouTube or through Stretch, GoFightingScots.com, or if you're just listening on 88.9 WFSC, we've got some women's soccer coming up after this at 4:30 p.m., and then we've got women's volleyball at 7. 3 receivers far side, 1 near side for Seton Hill from the 40 on 2nd and 5. The pass to Ardell Brown incomplete. It was about a 5-yard stop route, and he threw it about 2 yards deep.
Yeah, it was deflected both by number 38, Ryan Bischoff, and number 58, Joel Fulton, on making a deflected pass from Chris Jones.
Those games coming up later today. I will be on the call for both of them as I'm attempting the trifecta today. 3 sports in one day. 3 receivers far, 1 near again for Chris Jones, who drops back. Looks for Valentino in the flat, throws it low. Valentino slides, but incomplete as the ball hits the turf. 4th and 5, and the punt team makes their way out onto the field.
Another great stop for Edinboro's defense. And Edinboro will get the football back, and they're looking to add the score up late in this game with 12 minutes and 45 seconds left here in this contest.
Matt Stewart, the punter, who hasn't had a great day thus far, back for the punt, standing at the 25 on Seton Hill's own side of the field. His punt, a low line drive, end over end. It's going to roll all the way in Seton Hill's favor to the 5, to the 4, where it's finally downed. And the gunner chasing after it had slipped, so he's lucky it stopped at the 4. 12 and a half minutes to go in the game. Edinboro still leads 49-12 as they begin their drive from their own 4-yard line.
Programming on WFSC is supported in part by John's Wildwood Pizzeria, open daily at 105 Erie Street in Edinboro. John's menu features a selection of pizza, hoagies, wings, salads, and more. Information is at 814-734-7355 or on the web at johnswildwoodpizza.com.
Edinboro's offense makes their way out onto the field. They will begin their drive with 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near side, and a tight end on the near side of the line with the ball at the near hash. Keller sends James Clark, the near side receiver, in motion, but hands it off to Walter Fletcher, who has to bounce it to the outside of the offensive line. Again, he's broken free. Finally brought down. He's got a first down and more as he's taken to the 17-yard line on that run.
I am impressed with Walter's running ability on that play. He never gave up on that carry, kept driving his feet, and he gained another first down for the Fighting Scots on this current drive still in the mid of the fourth quarter. 2 near, 1 far for Edinboro, with A.J. Turner in at a fullback-like position. The handoff is to Kyle Galick up the middle, who gets hit at the line, but it's still a gain of about 3. And it was Walter Fletcher. Sorry, not Galick. I thought they made a personnel change. Now they make the personnel change, and Galick comes into the game. Now, looking at statistics already, Walter Fletcher has over 300 rushing yards in this game. So well done for Fletcher, and he has made 18 carries with 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he is making up for those games he didn't reach the 100-yard milestone in this one. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side, the far one in motion now. It's a jet sweep again for Tanaz. Gregory makes his way to the near sideline, has his own blocker pushed into him, but still on his feet. Almost gets to the first down, but it looks like it's close at the 26, and they are going to rule it a first down as they move the chains. 11 and a half here to go in the game.
A nice play by Gregory. He just never quits. Kept pushing forward, and it's enough for a first down, and they're at the 27-yard line in their own territory.
2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near side. Turner on the line on the near side. Ball at the near hash, moving left to right. Sends Clark in motion again. Pitches it to him again on the jet sweep. He's getting to the far sideline up to the 30, just past it, falling forward. Not quite a first down, but still a gain of about 5 for Edinboro.
I love the fancy footwork by James Clark, just moving to the left, moves to the right, doing a crisscross move, and gain about 5 yards on that play. 4 yards, as it'd be second down and 6.
And this time with the ball at the far hash, they'll bring those 2 receivers to the near side and 1 to the far side. Sends the far side receiver in motion. This time the handoff is to Galick, who attempted to go up the middle, but then found his way to the far sideline. He's to the midfield. The track and field star is wide open. The 20, the 10, 5, and he's got a rushing touchdown. Kyle Galick with the huge rush, adding to Edinboro's lead.
Another huge play from the running game of Edinboro. Kyle Galick, just like Walter Fletcher, all by himself. Nobody to tackle him, and it's another touchdown. Edinboro's up 55-12 with 10 minutes and 17 seconds left here in this football game.
And that was a huge rush, 68-yard rush for Kyle Galick.
He has now 7 carries for 79 yards.
Monroe's extra point through the uprights. And Edinboro way out in front with just over 10 minutes to go. We're going to take a 30-second break. You're listening to 88.9 WFSC, Fighting Scots Radio.
As far back as she can remember, Amy loved computers. how they worked, what they could do. They were a challenge. She wanted to learn as much as she could. So she harnessed her passion, and now she's a cybersecurity officer in the military. If you have a passion, a vision for your future in any field, todaysmilitary.com can be your path to a fulfilling career. You have a calling, we have an answer. Find your way at todaysmilitary.com.
6-12. A 44-point lead Edinboro controls with just over 10 minutes to go here at Sox Harrison Stadium as the Edinboro Fighting Scots football team hosts the Seton Hill Griffins in a PSAC West matchup. Edinboro has lost their last 2 in a row and 3 of their last 4, including, or all 4 of those being PSAC West matchups. They needed a big game, and so far it has come their way today. Jake Monroe's kickoff to the far sideline, but it bounces and stays in bounds. That's a fortunate hop for Edinboro. It rolled all the way to the 14 before a fair catch was made by the Griffins, number 9, Uriah Rajkumar.
Yeah, he kind of juggled the football a little bit, but luckily, though, he didn't lost the possession, and Seton Hill will start their next drive at the 13-yard line in their own territory with 10 minutes and 13 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Seton Hill begins this drive. They need to score, and they need to score quickly. 2 receivers on either side for Chris Jones. Michael Valentino to his left. Jones drops back, looks for the slant to Ardell Brown, in and out of his hands. No excuses, incompletion. Don't mean to mislead you there. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Ardell Brown was the intended receiver for Seton Hill, and he was so close trying to make the football, but it just slipped through his hands, and it's 2nd down and 10, and it's still at the 13-yard line.
Still spread out, 2 receivers either side for Jones, same exact formation. This time, a little bit of a read option. Jones holds it himself, gets back to the line, and has hit hard, helped up by his teammate. It's a loss of about 1, 3rd and 11 for the Griffins.
Yeah, Jones had nowhere to go. He was facing too much pressure from Edinboro's defense, and he had to take the sack, and now it's 3rd down and 11, and Seton Hill are now at the 12-yard line in their own territory.
Yeah, I mentioned it looked like a read play, and it almost looked like he didn't even make a read. He just tucked it and ran, and that was not the right read. 2 receivers either side for Jones again. Drops back for the pass, looks far down the near sideline. Instead, checks it down to Raj Kumar, makes the reception. He's hit but keeps going. He makes his way all the way to the 29, and that's where the 1st down marker is.
Yes,
and they are going to move the chains.
It'll be another 1st down for Seton Hill. And they're at the 24-yard line in their own territory.
Yes, the 24, not the 29, as I said before. 9 minutes to go in the game. Still trying to just get out of their side of the field. 2 receivers either side. The handoff is to Valentino up the middle. He gets hit, tries to spin, but is hit again and again and again, and brought down a couple yards gain, not enough for a 1st down.
Yeah, the Edinboro's defense was prepared for another running play right up through the middle, and just stop right there, and they only allowed just 2 yards on that carry.
A.J. Holton and Brandon Rivers are in at linebacker for Edinboro right now. A couple other changes have been made. We'll try to keep up with those personnel changes on defense. 2 receivers either side for Seton Hill. Drops back. Jones looks to the far sideline for the somewhat of a bubble screen. More of just a immediate stop route, but incomplete. 3rd down.
Yeah, the receiver intended for that pass was number 1, Matthew Williams, which is he just threw it low right at his feet, and like you said, it'll be 3rd down and 8.
Keyshawn Howard is in the secondary for Edinboro as they bring a little bit more coverage, more pass coverage. 2 receivers either side. Jones keeps it himself up to the line of scrimmage, now keeping it all the way. He gets tripped up and taken down at the 34, and that looks like that's going to be a first down. So moving the chains, but taking a lot of time to do it. Now only 8 minutes left in the game, and this game is all but out of reach for the Griffins as Miles Turner and Derek Dorr head off the field in favor of Bishop Simmons.
And Brandon Rivers, I see him, the linebacker, coming in for the Flying Scots.
2 receivers either side. Jones drops back again, looks towards the near sideline, finds Ardell Brown just in front of the first down marker. It won't be enough as he's brought down at the 42. 2nd and 2 for the Griffins, still on their own side of the field here.
Yeah, the tackles were made by number 13, Branson Smith, and the freshman, number 25, Billy DePaul. It'll be a 2nd down and 2.
And conspicuous by his absence is Zeril Hendrick, who has not had an interception in the past 3 games. This time a quick slant for Jones, incomplete. In on the coverage was DeAndre Dowdell. Some conversation in the midfield, but no flag to be found. No, the umpire was right on top of that one.
No, I don't think it was I don't think there was supposed to be a flag against Edinboro's defense. DeAndre Dowdell was waiting patiently for the ball to come from one of the attendant receivers, and he just swapped the ball right on time as the pass comes to the receiver.
2 receivers either side for Chris Jones. Drops back. Another quick pass, this time to Ardell Brown, who makes the catch and is pushed out of bounds at the 43. The first down marker is at the 44. So 4th and 1 from Seton Hill's own 43 with 7 minutes to go. And they've got no choice but to go for it on this one.
Actually, they're going to go for a punt.
Oh.
So Edinboro will have the football back once again, and Tanaz Gregory will be the punt returner for the Fighting Scots.
No, kind of a last-minute decision. The offense was on the field, ready to go, but eventually deciding, no, we're just going to punt it away.
Yeah, I thought they're going to go for it as well because even though they're down by like 40-plus points.
The punt is a low line drive for Tanaz Gregory, fielded on the fly at the 22, makes it to the 30, spins around, dives forward, finally downed at the 36. And Edinboro will start their drive from the 36 with 6.5 minutes to go in the game. And we're going to see lots of movement on the ground as they look to run out the clock here.
The programming on WFSC is underwritten by Bonnell's Auto Group, featuring collision services in Erie and Fairview, auto glass replacement and repair in Fairview, auto sales in Erie and Fairview, and full rod shop services and restoration in Fairview. Information on e-services on the web at bonnellsauto.com.
Edinboro will begin this drive. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side, and Turner at that fullback-like position behind the line. The handoff is to Walter Fletcher, who goes to the other side of the offensive line, but he's broken free for a first down and finally tripped up at the 49 on Edinboro's side of the field. 1st and 10 for the Fighting Scots as the clock ticks away.
And here comes Andrew Tomko, is now the quarterback for the Fighting Scots to close the deal against the Griffins. So nice to see him back on the field taking over as the quarterback.
Yeah, battling some injuries after that game at Mercyhurst 2 weeks ago. Kept him out of uniform last week. He was in uniform. We saw him punt earlier. It's nice to see him back on the field. A little bit of a lower pressure situation. They hope they can ease him back into action, I'm sure. 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near side. Turner right behind the offensive line, and Fletcher to Tomko's right. Haven't said that in a while. Fletcher does get the handoff, goes up the middle. He's to the 45 on Seton Hill's side and taken down all the way at the 40. Another first down for the Fighting Scots with 5.5 to go in this game.
Yeah, well, Fletcher kept pounding on the ground, and he's now being replaced by Kyle Galick. And, yeah, he'll come to the side. I thought he was going to replace Tanaz Gregory, but I think he'll be done for the day. He has over 317 yards rushing in this game with 20 carries and 4 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah, his teammates hugging him, patting him on the helmet. Looks like he may get a break for the rest of the game. Same formation, 2 receivers far, 1 near, Turner behind the line, and Galick behind him. The handoff is to Galick this time up the middle, who gets hit at the line. A gain of about 2 or 3 for the Fighting Scots this time. And now Andre Dowdell Jr., I believe. That's Khalil Jackson second. Sorry, Khalil Jackson the second comes on the field in favor of James Clark, and we'll see Jake Cervic, the tight end for Edinboro, come on in favor of A.J. Turner, the redshirt freshman. They're both redshirt freshmen, actually, but Turner does see most of the playing time. It is 2nd and 7. 2 receivers to the far side for Edinboro, 1 to the near side with Cervic on the right side of the line. Sends Khalil Jackson, the near side receiver, in motion, but before the ball gets snapped, flags all over the place. And it is false start.
I thought it was going to be encroachment against Seton Hill because I see more Seton Hill players moved against Edinboro, but
yeah, they're going to rule that Kyle Schreiner, the offensive lineman, jumped first. Schreiner, the redshirt freshman himself, the left guard. Tanaz Gregory is the wide out on the far side. Kyle Carrington, the slot receiver, on the far side. And Khalil Jackson, the second, the near side receiver. Cervic, like I said, on the line, on the near side of the line. And Kyle Gaelic to Tomko's left. Jackson in motion to the far side of the field. The handoff is to Gaelic up the middle, spins around at the line, gets a couple extra yards before getting hit and brought down by about 6 different Griffins. It's still a gain of about 2.
Yeah, nice for Gaelic to run up in the middle just to get back through get back to the line of scrimmage originally when they have the first down.
The rain now coming down pretty hard once more. The advantage that Edinboro has here is they get to just run running plays to try to eat up some clock with 3.5 minutes to go. Seton Hill has to try to pass the ball to move the ball downfield quickly. 3 receivers to the far side, just the tight end on the near side of the line, the inside receiver on the far side in motion. Gaelic up the middle with the handoff, gets hit and brought down near the first down, but not quite enough. He's to the 31 on Seton Hill's side of the field as the clock reaches 3 minutes to go. Edinboro leading 56-12. Looks like they've got a good chance of taking this one all the way. Tomko in at quarterback, replacing Jared Keller, who took the snaps for most of this game.
And Blake Gregg will sub in for Tanaz Gregory.
So all of these starters in the receiving core, as well as the running core and the quarterback, are out of this game as they lead by 44. 3 far, just the tight end near, the inside receiver in motion. The handoff to Gaelic again, who bounces out to the far side of the offensive line. He's through to the 20, the 15, brought down all the way at Seton Hill's 11. Another first down for Edinboro.
And I think Kyle Gaelic has over 100 yards rushing today, so we have not 1, but 2 Edinboro running backs who have at least over 100 yards rushing today in this game.
Yeah, Kyle Gaelic, he's a great runner himself, part of Edinboro's track and field team. It's just tough to get those reps when the guy in front of you was second in Division II in rushing last year. Walter Fletcher, of course, who we mean, has over 300 yards rushing in this game. 2 receivers near, 1 far, sends the far side receiver in motion. The handoff,
that was to
Kyle Sims, the third-string running back who fumbles the ball as he was brought down, but they're going to actually rule him down. He had not been brought down, but had been wrapped up and his forward progress stopped, so they ruled him down back at the 15. It is still a loss.
It'll be a second down and 13 for Edinboro.
1.5 minutes to go now, as Edinboro getting close to finishing this game off. They'll take all the time they can. And now Kyle Carrington comes off the field in favor of Tanaz Gregory. And Tanaz Gregory turns around, and instead we will see somebody else come out. And let's see, as Edinboro is just going to go ahead and take a knee, but the play clock hits 0.
And it'll be a delay of game penalty against Edinboro, but it really won't affect against the Fighting Scots. So they're just going to try to take their time, run the clock down, because there's 1 minute left in the fourth quarter.
1 minute to go. It'll be second and long, but they have decided they're going to go ahead and take the knee. And they're going to reset the clock a little bit higher. I believe they said 1:07. We'll see once they... The scoreboard operator having a little bit of fun there. It now says 10 minutes, 70 seconds.
Now there's 1 minute and 7 seconds.
1:07 to go in this game. Edinboro leads by 44 at Sox Harrison Stadium. Just their second conference win within reach here as Andrew Tomko takes the knee. And the clock ticks away for the Fighting Scots, who are going to go ahead and reset. Don't forget, stay tuned. Keep your radios on. Keep your apps open. Women's soccer in action at 4:30 p.m. here at Sox Harrison Stadium. I'll be on the call for that. And then after that, at 7 o'clock, women's volleyball will be in action. I'll be on the call for that with Maddie G, who's running the board for us right now. And Luke, you'll be back in the studio running the board for us. We appreciate that, even if I'll forget to say that later. Andrew Tomko took his last knee of the game, and just under 20 seconds to go, they're going to let it tick away as both teams meet at the midline, the 50-yard line, to shake hands.
And I would say that this is the best game I have ever seen at home this season from the Fighting Scots. This is the win they needed to get back on track. And now they have snapped a 2-game losing streak by put an impressive win over Seton Hill with a final score of 56-12.
And you hope they take this momentum into next week at Clarion, and you hope they take that momentum into the rest of the season. Like I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, they're now 2-3 in the conference, but with 3 conference losses, you're likely not making the playoffs. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. That's just how the conference tends to shake up. 2 is doable depending on the year. 3 is very hard to make it to the playoffs. So their chances are all but dashed away, especially for those seniors who've encountered some pretty tough seasons. They've been on both ends of it, the highs and the lows. So they needed to come out and just play their hearts out and just get a dominating win, and that's exactly what they did here. Those 44 points, they needed all 44 of them to be able to get back to who they are as a program.
Yeah, and what's funny is I'm looking at the box score for Edinboro. They scored 2 touchdowns each and every quarter during the win against Seton Hill. And going over team statistics, the Fighting Scots have 619 total yards. Most of that is from the running game, 436 rushing yards. And on the passing game, Edinboro had 183. And for Seton Hill, they have 290 total yards, which they have 39 rushing, and 251 passing yards. Edinboro was 3 for 4 on 4th down conversions, and Seton Hill was 2 for 6. And both teams had 2 turnovers, but the Fighting Scots took 7 points off the board against Seton Hill during the win. And when I think I say the co-players of the game, it will be Walter Fletcher and Kyle Galick. For Fletcher, he had 21 carries, 328 yards, and 4 touchdowns. For Galick, he had 11 carries for 112 yards and 1 touchdown. So Fletcher and Galick are the co-players of the game for today.
They did credit James Clark with a 5th reception. I must have missed it. I was looking out for it, but I didn't see one. With that 5th reception, did I say interception again? I meant reception if I said interception.
It's okay.
There's record watches for both receptions and interceptions. But James Clark with 5 interceptions today is now at 195 in his career, which makes him the all-time leader in receptions at Edinboro. And we've seen a new offensive system from Edinboro incorporating the pass game more as they balance out the offense. But we've also seen Clark fight for every single one of his receptions. Just this year, we saw Gannon target him, literally, taking him out of the game in the first half with an illegal hit. He still came back the next week and has earned all 195 despite double teams, lockdowns. I mean, teams knowing he's coming, it doesn't matter. That's the kind of talent that gets you immortalized, and James Clark will forever be immortalized at the top of the career receptions record list at Edinboro.
Yeah, James Clark, I think he really earns to be on top of the most career receptions in Edinboro, and how much hard work he has put in all the years for the Flying Scots. And that's what the reward you'll get when you make it up top on one of the all-time players in Edinboro football history.
Next up for the Fighting Scots, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, they visit Clarion University next Saturday, October 27th. That game kicks off at noon. I'll be on the call for that one with Luke alongside with me. And then after that, the next 2 weeks, Edinboro gets to finish the season at home. They've only played 3 home games this season, so they'll finish out with 2 to end the season. All 3 of those games coming up start at noon. That's all we have here for you from Sox Harrison Stadium. Edinboro with a huge 56-12 win over Seton Hill. I'll see you in an hour and a half at 4:30 when the women's soccer game kicks off. Until then, Luke, what station have they been listening to?
You are listening to 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio.
For those who think, those who create, those who have big ideas, like really, really big, some would call them crazy ideas. For those who have been told no, no chance, and not you. Those who never miss practice, even at 6 a.m. Those who break a sweat, break hearts, and break records. For those who work harder, smarter, faster, there's Edinboro University. For those who strive. Start now at edinboro.edu.